placement show for Friday night auctions because ain't nobody buying nothing during Christmas season. So tonight so far where'd she go?
She dropped out. I think she'll be back.
Girl. All right. Mary Ellen from Order of the Green Hand. There she is. There she is.
Wait, sorry. I don't know what happened. Oh my God.
Your IT guy is gone.
Yeah, he is. What the hell?
All right, we'll skip over Mary Ellen and introduce Quinn from Ideas of Ice and Fire. Quinn, give us the 30-second lowdown on who you are and what you are up to.
I'm like a
Quinn,
vampire.
Ideas of Ice and Fire. You can find me on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. I'm currently working on a graphic novel called Tadia. I'll leave a link to that in the comment section. You can go get put on the mailing list.
Yes, and I will at some point affix it into the description because I haven't done any of that yet because I'm a slacker. I'm a slacker, right. Baby. So Quinn, what do you do on your YouTube channel there, buddy?
On my YouTube channel, I cover various science fiction and fantasy novels like Dune, A Song of Ice and Fire. I've done Foundation by Isaac Asimov. I've done Hyperion by Dan Simmons. I'm about to start doing Ringworld by Larry Niven as well, and I'm just really into classic science fiction and classic fantasy books.
Nerd.
And I'm really into mythology and themes and all that stuff. Yeah.
Right on. So Quinn is a classic nerd.
Yes.
Appropriate for this channel. Right on. Friday Night Bullpen. I'm going to hit that share, everybody, and let everybody know that we are doing this now. So I'm going to do that. I don't know. It's Friday before Christmas. I imagine a lot of people are at the mall right now.
Mm-hmm.
Guys. Panic shopping, I think.
Yeah.
All right.
Also, people are probably seeing Rise of the Skywalker.
Rise of the Skywalker. Oh, what an inaptly named movie. Ridiculously poorly named. It's like calling Lord of the Rings a trip to Walmart. So bad. But I don't think everyone here has seen it, so
I don't care about spoilers, but
all right. We can talk about it in generalities and storytelling and whatnot. But let's go to Mary Ellen. Mary Ellen from Order of the Green Hand. Quick 30-second rundown of who you are and what you do.
Okay. Hey, everybody. My name is Mary Ellen. I am from the channel Order of the Green Hand, which I used to run with my ex-fiance, Dave. So now it's just me, and we've done a lot of collabs with Quinn and Mike and other A Song of Ice and Fire YouTubers, such as Rawrist, and we did some things with Preston and Carmine and some other people too. So mainly the channel focuses on A Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones, and I will put a link in the chat. And thanks for having me, Mike.
Absolutely.
I had fun last Friday.
Yeah,
I was such a are there any of the guys from last week here?
Not as yet, but we are. I mean, the link is in the room. I don't know who's busy. It's just like I said, it's the Friday before.
Yeah. Because I had a lot of fun. They were telling me I know nothing. I'm Jon Snow about movies and stuff, so that's cool. I get to learn a lot.
It's true. It is true. You do know nothing. No, just kidding.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know. But thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And one more over Kevin, who doesn't like to appear on camera for some reason, is showing his artwork. Kevin Sharp, you got 30 seconds, man. Pitch yourself.
You're speaking to Kevin Sharp. I'm speaking to you guys. Kevin Sharp, Marvel and DC artist, and now artist on Dragon Guard, which will be launching on Indiegogo in late February or early March, depending on when Doug TenNapel decides to destroy us all when we launch, when he launches his book. So there we go.
Yeah, Doug knows what he's doing.
Yep.
Doug knows what he's doing. All right, so I'm Quinn. Can I ask you to take point for a minute, because I'm going to do this stuff where I put everybody's info in the description real quick. So whatever topic you want to talk about, go.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah. So what's up with you?
Me? No, don't you dare. There's how many out
Oh, did I put you on the spot?
Okay, yeah, I don't know. Well,
there? Okay,
let's
has
see.
anybody
What am
seen
I
any
doing?
movies? Has anybody been to the movies?
I've been reading a new Stephen King book. I mean, the book's not new, but I haven't read it before. You know, I don't know. It's called Mr. Mercedes, and it's apparently part of a trilogy, and it's really creepy. And it's about like this guy who he I don't know. So in the beginning of the book, there's like all of these people, and they're like about to like they're at a job fair, right? And then all of a sudden, this like gray Mercedes comes out of the mist, and it just like runs over all these freaking people and like kills like a bunch of people. It kills like this woman and a baby, paralyzes people, and like these cops are trying to find the guy, but they can never find the guy. And so eventually, like the guy who did it apparently like writes a letter to this like ex-cop, and he's like trying to get the guy to kill himself. It's really messed up. So it's really interesting so far. And I don't know. I've been on like this weird Stephen King like kick now because I love Stephen King. That's what's happening, you know, with me. That's what I'm reading now. Yeah, I haven't seen Star Wars yet. Did you see Star Wars, Mary Ellen?
No, I
Any
have
Star Wars?
not.
Do you plan on it?
Maybe.
Have you seen the other ones?
Nope. Well, the old ones I saw them. I saw the ones like from how long ago were the
From
first
the
ones?
70s?
There you go. I saw
Yeah.
those.
Well, I don't know.
I like those.
I mean, I've seen the newer ones, but I don't think I'm gonna go see the Rise of Skywalker one just because, like,
Yeah, save your money.
just
That's
because,
what
like,
everybody's talking
I
about.
didn't care the first time. I didn't care. Like
That's
when what was
Okay.
the first one called? The Force Awakens.
Force
Was that
Awakens.
it?
Yeah.
I didn't care then. Like I like. Do you remember like how it was before that movie came out? Like the marketing, the toys, the trailers. It was like so over the top. Like everywhere you went. Like the year before that movie, it was just like crazy. So I was like, you know, I've never been into like this whole Star Wars thing before. I guess I can like go see this. And I actually went by myself to go see it, and I was like, whatever. I'd never seen anything Star Wars prior to that other than A New Hope. And I just watched A New Hope just to prepare for this. And I remember seeing it and just being like, they literally just took all the beats from that old movie and just did the same stuff with like different characters. They did all the same stuff.
Why
did all
do
the
you
same
hate
beats.
so much? Gosh.
I don't know. And then I was just like watching that. I was just like, whatever. And then I guess I went to see the other one, and then I was like, whatever. And then so now I don't care. But apparently a lot of people didn't like the last one, but everybody did like that first one. So I don't know. I don't know what exactly.
I liked The Force Awakens, but I liked it in the sense of, yeah, they stole all the beats, and they did a lot of fan service, and I thought it was a good way to like reintroduce a new generation into the Star Wars mythos, right? And it just felt comfortable. It felt like a good middle of the road, you know, you both have the old characters and you have the new, because you have to pass a baton. If you want to keep Star Wars going, it can't be, you know, the Geritol Star Wars. Nobody wants to. Well, okay, I would want one, but you know, new people aren't going to come in and want to watch a bunch of 80-year-old people prancing around in pajamas with laser swords, right? you have to pass the baton. I thought that was set up all right to do that in the first movie. I didn't really care about the characters, except for the characters that I already knew, and they killed Han. And that I cared about, because I grew up with him. And he looks like my dad.
That's because, what's his name? Harrison Ford didn't want to be in the movies anymore.
Dude, he wanted to be killed off in the original trilogy.
Yeah, I can just see him just being like, y'all gotta pay me like $25 million, and I'm only gonna be in one movie, and that's it. And do not call me again.
Well, he was in this one.
What'd you say?
He was in the new one.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. He was in that. He's like, I'm gonna be in one movie.
He's in this new one.
He's in this one?
The one that just came out. He shows up in this movie. Yep.
It's like a cameo or something. Like, is it like a flashback or like a Force ghost or something?
It's
like,
he wasn't a Jedi, so it's not a Force ghost, but he's a memory that happens to have his own personality. So it's
okay, whatever.
It's weird. Yeah. So he shows up.
Some
Spoilers.
stupid yes.
Spoilers.
Oh man.
But
I was going to see that too now, Mike. Thanks, man.
Hey, sorry. But that is the
Twitter has
case.
spoiled it all for me, I think.
Oh yeah. If you've been on Twitter at all, you know pretty much the whole plot at this point.
They were posting clips of it before it even came out. I saw clips
Yep.
of like just like the actual movie before it was even out.
The actual ending.
The piracy is strong with that one.
Yeah, it's intense. Yeah. I mean, Star Wars is fun. You know, I had fun watching Force Awakens when I saw. I even had fun watching that weird chase movie because I've always felt like even like I've always felt like Star Wars is just like that. Like you just kind of turn your brain off and watch a popcorn movie. That's like what it is, right? It's just like it's like doing a retelling of the hero's journey in the original trilogy.
Yeah, this particular one, you really, really have to turn your brain off.
You just have to go, yeah.
You like have to go in comatose
And just watch the pretty colors.
Like in Clockwork Orange, just with the toothpicks in your eyes, you're like, yeah, it's about that level. Boy, I personally can't stand Michael Bay movies, and the whole first half of this movie just felt like a Michael Bay movie because it was just like scene after scene after action of nonsensical garbage. You didn't know what the hell was going on, and what he was trying to do was just kind of get rid of the smell from the previous movie.
You know what I think the problem with a lot of this stuff is? Problem with this and Game of Thrones is I feel like they underestimate their audience. And they think people just want like easy, the same stuff they've always seen before. But people like change. People like unique and interesting stories. You know? Like don't underestimate your audience. Like surprise people, shock them with something interesting that hasn't been seen before. Don't try and be so safe all the time. Okay, it's like Deadpool, right? Nobody thought like an R-rated like movie like this would work. And then Deadpool crosses $1 billion. And so and that paved the way for them to be able to do Logan. And then I'm like, okay, we can make an R-rated movie now because that movie was going to be PG-13. So because they took a risk, you know, it really, really worked out, and you get like really, you get new and interesting, exciting things you haven't seen before. And I feel like Hollywood needs to stop being so afraid of taking risks, stop being so afraid of like hurting people's feelings and pissing people off. Just tell a story. Just tell a good story. I don't know.
Yeah, well, Kevin, if you have any opinions, go ahead and pipe in. But
Well, I mean, I agree to an extent. I think what we're running into is that for the longest time, there's been so much. There was a period of time in the '90s where comic fans or fans of genre films were really mad about how things were being interpreted. It wasn't close to the source material. Just how fans of certain books and things like that were with any kind of adaptation. And then so it's gotten to a point where I think studios weren't listening, and then fans were going, oh, okay, this sucks. Why isn't it like the books? And more when things got more successful by adapting closer to the comics or closer to whatever source material it is, and you started seeing success, people, I think the studios or whoever at least started paying more attention to that and got cold feet about trying new ideas. You know, like there was, or at least I think we're seeing that now, that people are maybe not as, I'm trying to say, as adventurous or willing to take chances. And I know for me, I just, you know, I want to see more adaptations of the source material and things closer, you know, but at the same time, you know, I guess one of the dangers is that there's a lack of maybe a certain type of creativity because of it. You know, maybe you're kind of in a box.
It is. You are in a box, and I do kind of. I mean, I get it. I get why they do that. I mean, it's playing it safe because you're playing with budgets that are in the hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
You know, exactly. So when you can take a $50 million film and kind of play loose and fast with it and let some real creatives, you know, get their fingers in it, you end up with something like Joker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which was just fantastic, even though it was based on a pre-existing property, which probably gave it a boost. If that wasn't a Joker movie, that was a Carnival movie, which was the name of the clown, right? If it was based on the original screenplay and it was just Carnival and it was exactly the same except for the, Bruce Wayne bit, it wouldn't have done nearly as well, even though it was such a phenomenal movie. So I don't know. With that, I think they struck some sort of a perfect Venn diagram. Struck a deal, right, with the pop culture, with the known item, and with just such an excellent story in and of itself. But that's what you lose so often when you're just trying to ride the coattails of what's already been successful.
Yeah, the Joker really shocked me. Like, I kind of didn't want to see it at first, and then I saw it, and I was like, oh my god, a real movie.
I know.
I was like, I'm actually seeing a real movie that someone actually thought about and actually put some effort into telling a real story that actually meant something.
Who'd have thought?
Yeah, I know, right? I like a lot of Marvel movies. I really like what's the one, Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
because it is just like, I feel like that's the best Captain America movie because it is just like, that is such a tight story. I mean, it's just like it's like irrelevant to like what was going on at the time with like the NSA spying and all of that. They hit all those beats, and that was a really well made movie. I mean, I really enjoyed that one.
And that's the thing. They can do it, right? You could do that every time you grab one of these properties because they do have all this rich backstory that you can feed off of. But at the same time, you can also bring your own creativity and your own imagination, as long as you've got good people working on it.
Yeah,
you can create great works of art and not just trivialize, to the point of it just being regurgitated crap.
That's why I'm really excited about the Marvel Mutants, because I feel like the X-Men have like never been done right, like ever.
Yeah.
maybe First Class is like the closest to like an X-Men team where it's like an actual team of X-Men getting together and like fighting, because usually it's just like Wolverine off somewhere doing something and somebody else is like, you never like see them like, we are a team and we're going out to do something. So and then also X-Men, that the story of the X-Men is so, there's so many interesting ways that story can be tied back into what's going on now socially, because like the whole thing about the X-Men is that they're different from everybody else and they're ostracized by society and all of these things, and they're kind of like struggling for rights, and that all kind of like, it formed out of like the 1960s and like the civil rights movement and all that stuff. But I feel like you could bring that back and you could tell really interesting, like relevant stories with the X-Men. And I feel like the movies that have been out previously, who was it, Sony that had the X-Men? They've never, I don't think, done that. They've never done that well.
Wait, was it Sony?
Well, Sony or
Fox.
Spider-Man.
I forget who.
It was Fox.
It was Fox. But yeah, I feel like a lot of those movies just like straight up ignore the source material, right? Like you'll see a character and then it's like the powers are totally different. The costume is totally different. That's one thing that I never got about the X-Men movies too, is it like, why can't you just put the character in a freaking costume? It's like, why are all these...
Marvel got it, right? Marvel's like, we got the costumes, and we have to make them make sense in visually. This is kind of the way I'm doing my universe. It's like, I want my characters in costumes, but we can't just have somebody jump out in yellow tights. It just doesn't feel like it works in this world. If you have a character and him being in yellow tights is like I have a character called Superhero G. He's the creation, the imaginary friend of a kid. And so because he's the imaginary friend of a kid, it explains why this big goofy guy is wearing, spandex. But if you just have like some guy, it's like, I want to be a superhero, and he like, stretches on his wife's dance costume to go out and battle crime, it doesn't really make sense. But the way Marvel handles the costumes, you get the essence of what the costume looks like. You have Thor's discs, right, and his big flowing cape and everything, but it just makes sense. And I have a lot of respect for Andy Park and Ryan Rendling and Paul I have a lot of respect for him. I can't remember his last name. The guys that do all the costume design for Marvel, because they've been able to straddle that really feels like the costume, but still feels like it fits in a real world, scenario. Yeah. Whereas the X-Men was just like, let's put
Black
y'all
leather.
in padded leather because that looks swell.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and partially because of that, it was because of the time because you had a Singer who was kind of scared to take chances, and then you had the Matrix was just hot, and so they felt they had to throw everybody in black pleathers, spandex, whatever you want to say. And I think he never got out of that mindset, and it goes along with what Quinn was saying. It wasn't the characters that and you're right with Marvel. They're getting it right. Although I feel like here lately they've been going to the dark side, and more of the costumes have become more black lately, which kind of bums me out. But otherwise, yeah.
Like in the earlier X-Men movies before Jennifer Lawrence was Mystique, I really enjoyed Mystique. Right, I thought she was one of the best adapted characters in that whole thing. But then after Jennifer Lawrence became Mystique, it was like something changed, and she was an awful Mystique, absolutely awful. And then I really disliked how they just tried to make her she was at one point by the end of it, she's leading the X-Men. Yeah. I was like, when has Mystique ever led the X-Men? That doesn't even make sense.
No.
Right? But I just it was just a total disregard for the characters and the spirit of the characters and the essence of the characters, which is I really hate. You can change the character and make it different, but when you just completely just defy the essence of the character, it's not. I don't like that. It's upsetting to me personally as someone that loves these characters.
Yeah. What's your favorite comic?
My favorite comic?
By the way, I have Tadia up there on the screen if you can't see it.
Oh yeah, I can see it.
Tadia is the lead character in Quinn's upcoming graphic novel, which is currently in development, and hopefully you can sign up. The link is in the description to go sign up for information. You can get preview stuff. You can get special deals that may not be available to people who do not sign up for the email list. So check your emails also. But yeah, he's been working on this for a while. Why don't you go ahead and tell everybody, because I'm pitching your book, and that's your job.
All right. Yeah. So I've been working on the story for Tadia for about 2 years now. It is a fantasy horror story about the machinations of mischievous witches who call themselves the daughters of Hecate, and it's set in a fictional medieval society, a fictional medieval kingdom called Marath. And the story is about these witches and how they create a child named Tadia, who they hope to use to bend and shape the kingdom of Marath to their will. And they're sympathetic characters. They're actually, their ultimate goal is to actually kind of save everybody, even though they kind of go about it through their very ends justify the means. So they have no problem with killing anyone, from children to just anyone to get what they want. Well, essentially, they create Tadia in order to bend the king to their will, because he's wronged them. So the comic is called Tadia, Kingbreaker.
Bad
is
king.
the subtitle. That's the deal.
Link is in the chat and the description.
There you go. I kind of lost my train of thought there for a second.
Rodwell Stevens says he just signed up. Right on. Dana
Awesome.
Dane says, hi guys. Lyrical Silence, what's up? Cody James, hello. Kevin Ryan. There's Order of the Green Hand in the chat. And she's back.
Yay!
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 I know. I shared it out, and I think some of my people got it. So you should do that too, Quinn, and other people here.
Woo!
I did.
You know what?
You did.
What would
Make sure I share too.
What would help the most though is if you share it through the YouTube thing instead of like Twitter. Is that what you
Okay.
did?
Oh, I did.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
I did it
cool.
Yeah, did
Yeah,
you
yeah.
do that, Quinn?
I think I can do that.
Oh yeah, I see.
It's so
yours.
easy. It's so easy. Barely an inconvenience. Just click the just click the share. Did you ever watch those videos, Quinn?
Huh?
Did you ever watch Screen Rant?
No.
He said super easy, barely an inconvenience. And basically he just does. You've never seen his Game of Thrones pitch meeting?
I don't think so.
Oh my God, you're missing out.
Oh, you just hit the share button and then hit create post. Oh wow,
So easy. Barely
I've
an
never
inconvenience.
even
He says
done
that all the
that.
time.
That is so funny. You showed me that. I always go up to the little camera.
Oh,
thing.
okay. They create posts. I was like looking everywhere for that. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Wait, how long have we been doing this?
Yeah, I know. It's. Oh, thanks, Lyrical.
Well,
I know,
Mary
it's crazy.
Ellen, you taught
What?
us something about YouTube.
I did. I'm like not tech savvy YouTuber that's on the planet. There. Wait, that's too high now. See, look, Dave usually does this.
Yeah,
Maybe he did do things around here.
So we were talking about comic book movies. Do
Yeah.
you partake, Mary Ellen?
No. I have seen Wonder Woman.
Okay, yeah,
With
that's a solid
Diana.
movie.
Diana's cool. I saw I've seen comic book movies, but I just don't I might not even know they're comic book movies. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know that Road to Perdition. Didn't you guys tell me that last week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Comic. That was crazy to me. That's so cool.
What movie?
Road to
The
Perdition.
Road to Perdition.
I've never.
Is it Tom Hanks?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good movie. It's with Tom Hanks and is there any other big actress in there? But he's traveling with a young boy.
I forget.
And I don't raise the channel's IQ by 30.
I know.
It's a really good movie. It's basically about Tom Hanks is a gangster, right? Does anybody remember?
I haven't seen it since it came out. I think I saw it in theaters.
So did I. I did too. I really liked it. It was kind of long.
Captain
but
Hilt says Jude Law.
Jude Law's in it too. Yes.
Have you
The
seen The
Crow. I
Crow?
like The Crow.
Yeah.
There we go.
That was The Crow's actually one of the best direct translated comic book movies ever. They
I can
really
see that.
yeah, they really stuck with the source material. It was really well done on not a huge budget. Boy, what a pity Brandon Lee freaking died making
Oh
it.
my God, that's so sad.
Yeah.
It was a freak accident, right?
Yeah. So what happened was they have two kinds of bullets on movie sets and stuff. One are like blanks with what they'll do is they'll take a bullet apart, they'll dump all the thing, and then they'll fire off the firing pin or the firing cap so that it's a dead bullet, and then they'll put the bullet back together so that they have things that look like real bullets on set, and then they'll also have partial load bullets for blanks, right?
Oh.
And so what they figured out happened was that one of these dud bullets, they did not take the firing pin out of, right? So the firing pin isn't enough to shoot the bullet out, but it is enough to lodge it into the barrel. And so somebody was firing it off, and one of the blanks went off, or not the blanks, but the thing went off, went into the barrel, and then they loaded the same gun with half blanks.
Oh my God.
So it was a half, you don't do a full load, but a half a load on a 45 or 38, whatever, at, he was, 10, not even 10 yards away, like 15 feet away or something like that. And just right in the heart.
Jeez.
Yeah. So
I didn't know how he died. I did not know that story.
That sucks.
Yeah. After that,
He was how old?
Where's what?
How old was he?
He was like 25, 28,
Yeah,
something like
Yeah,
that.
that's too young. I mean, it's always too young, but like that.
And he
was
did
young.
so great in that movie too.
Mm-hmm.
Did they ever make The Crow too?
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't as good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. People are saying his death was fishy, huh?
Well, I think it's because of the curse of the Lees,
What's that?
Well, Bruce Lee died. His dad died mysterious death.
His dad was Bruce Lee?
Yeah.
Be like water, my friend?
Yeah.
Yes.
Get out.
Come on, you don't know this?
I know nothing. I'm telling you. That's insane. I did not know that. Wow. I know recently there was kind of a scandal with the Lee family.
Marion, by the way, do you have any pictures of the rock you live under?
No, I don't. I need to turn in my nerd card. I would totally lose the trivia game here. No, there was a scandal with the Lee family. I can tell you guys about that.
Go on.
So,
Scandal.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is a new movie, right? By Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
And Bruce Lee is depicted in the film, and the Lee family went nuts at the caricature that was created.
As did I.
Their dad. You went nuts too?
Yeah, I hated that scene.
Okay. All right, talk to me about it then, because I want to know a little bit more. Was he like very cartoony?
No, it was just they wanted to make their dude be like the big, tough guy in the movie. So Bruce Lee is talking about, fighting and stuff. I don't remember exactly the phraseology. And the guy's like laughing at him. And he's like, what? And he's like, so he challenges him to a fight. Right? And everybody knows you don't fight Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee has fought people, of every martial art, of every weight class, and kicked everybody's freaking butt. But they wanted Johnny or Brad Pitt's character to be the big tough guy in the movie, so he fought Bruce Lee to a standstill, threw him into the side of a car, and do all this stuff, it's like going up in you're in prison and you shank the biggest guy there, but
Gotcha.
Yeah, you don't do it with the memory of Bruce freaking Lee.
The family was really upset.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I guess Quentin Tarantino was like, don't care. I heard him say stuff like that. Like, I don't know. I was just reading a quick article on Twitter.
Yeah,
So,
and
that's reliable.
the excuses were, it's like, hey, Tarantino is a big fan of Bruce Lee. It was like, well, it doesn't sound like it.
Yeah.
At least it didn't seem that way.
Right. Have you seen the movie?
I haven't seen. I saw the clip that we're talking about, though.
Cool.
Somebody
Yeah.
played it, and I was just like,
Quiet.
okay, the guy playing Bruce Lee in the movie, I thought it was a pretty decent, as far as acting. And
Yeah, he
trying
did
to
a great
portray
job.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he even sounded like Bruce.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Wow.
okay, cool. And it just was such a silly, kind of goofy scene that I was just like, man, whatever, Quentin.
Like too slapstick or something? Like too silly?
It was like over
I'm gonna have to watch
disrespectful, right? I don't know.
It
Disrespectful.
just seemed
That's
to go
why.
out of its way to kind of make sure you said, hey, Bruce got his rear kicked. You know?
Gotcha. Okay. Right.
It just kind of went out of the way with that. It was just disrespectful.
He
in
mentioned
that.
Muhammad Ali in the clip.
Yeah, Cassius Clay, I think they were talking about. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that was a big thing. That was a big part of this controversy because supposedly back in real life, Bruce Lee didn't say that he could beat Muhammad Ali,
Oh, really?
but in the movie, I guess he did. I don't know.
That would have been the most interesting fight of the century. Bruce Lee versus Muhammad Ali.
Right? Is that kind of the mountain in Oberon?
Yeah, maybe. It's just Muhammad Ali was the fastest guy ever in the boxing ring, and Bruce Lee is the fastest guy everywhere else.
Right.
I mean,
All right,
you've
guys,
seen
who
Muhammad
wins?
Ali just
Muhammad
like
Ali
dodging
or
stuff like
Cassius
this, right? It's like
Bruce Lee or Cassius Clay? Who wins? Let's see what the chat thinks. Who are you gonna say, Mike? If you had to pick one of them,
Bruce Lee.
okay.
Oh boy. My heart wants to lean towards Bruce, but I was watching Muhammad Ali just sit in the corner and bob and weave and just, guys are trying to hit him and he's just like, ain't happening. That's pretty amazing. But I mean, you've seen Bruce Lee. There's footage of Bruce Lee knocking people in their rear with that 1-inch punch thing. And I don't know. It's a hard one for me.
All right.
I'm non-committal.
Non-committal. Okay. I like this float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. He may get them all, but he ain't getting me, Ali. I like that.
Quinn.
Pretty cool.
Quinn, you have an opinion?
Huh?
You have an opinion?
I'd say Bruce Lee.
There you go. Quinn's right. Non-committal is wrong. So that's 2 Bruce Lees and 1 non-committal. I think we know who was winning this fight. The thing is, they had to actually get Bruce to slow down so that they could film him. Like when he was doing stuff in the movies, he would do stuff that was too fast for the cameras to pick up on. So visually, it's like it's great for a fight, right?
Yeah.
But not so great for cinematics. And so, Cassius Clay was one fast dude, and he was powerful. But I don't know. I think Lee's legs were probably stronger than his hands, and Cassius probably would only use his hands in a fight. Have you ever seen Roadhouse?
Roadhouse.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna make a point here. I know this is going around a long way, but I've taken Wing Chun, and the base kicks in Wing Chun are all designed to break your knees, right?
Ooh.
Because if you can't walk, you can't fight, and that's why I bring up Roadhouse, because that's that's one of the things when you're fighting somebody bigger than you just break their knee. They can't walk, they can't fight, and so I don't think that. I think at some point that's how you take it, because that was the core of Jeet Kune Do was Wing Chun. That was what Ip Man taught Bruce Lee. That was his foundational style, and so he would have known he's fighting a bigger guy who's way faster than he is. He would have done something to divert his attention and just drop that front knee. That fight's over. Hard to bob and weave.
So, like, if you're outnumbered, you want to take out the deadliest guy first by breaking his knee, right?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. These kids are being really annoying.
Oh, it's okay. I'm sorry. Like, if you were outnumbered, like, would you take out like probably the most deadliest guy that you're up against out first, like by breaking his knees? Did I understand that right?
If I was outnumbered?
Yeah, like say you got like.
Yeah, I would.
Hypothetically speaking.
I would fight dirty.
You have to, right? If it was a real fight, you got to do that. That's because I always thought I was like, you got to break that first guy's knee.
No. It's not sweep the leg. It's kicks that are designed to bend the knee backwards.
Oh, the other way. Okay.
So, yeah.
What are we talking about? We're talking about Mung Chi, or what was it called?
Wing Chun.
Wing Chun. Okay. Wow. Yeah, it's a type of karate.
Kung Fu.
Kung Fu. All right.
If you ever seen Ip Man,
powerful though, right?
He's what?
He was powerful, like in mentally too.
Oh yeah.
I read about a lot of his like philosophy, and he used to. He has a lot of cool quotes. I didn't know that. Because after I read that article,
like
about
water.
Be like water. Yeah, exactly. Be like water, my friend.
Like
was that in the movie?
No, that was in an interview. Yeah.
They didn't put any cool Bruce Lee quotes in the movie?
It was just to disrespect him.
Yeah.
I guess so. All right. That was my topic of discussion. I'm done.
It's like, how can we be as disrespectful as possible?
Oh, I'm about to kick Victor from my channel. He says Bruce Lee was a fake martial artist, never did kata, where they punch your body in your karate stance. Victor, you know what, dude? I gotta time you out. Sorry.
Oh no!
You're in a timeout. Sorry.
Timed out.
Which is funny because Victor says all kinds of crap on my channel, and this is the thing I time him out for.
This was that one thing. You went too far. You picked the wrong subject there.
I mostly agree with Mike. So I'm just torn a little bit because I have that mindset of that quote by Tyson where he says, everybody's got a plan until we get hit. And, is with Bruce, how would he take a really strong hit like that from somebody that big? Mm-hmm. We don't know. He doesn't get hit a lot. So, or he didn't.
That's right.
What would it be like? And so that's why I'm torn,
I understand. I would go with, I don't know a lot about Bruce Lee's fighting though, so it might be kind of a naive call, but I would go with Muhammad Ali.
Hey, see.
There's one for Muhammad Ali, me. And there were some people in the chat, too.
So did anybody see cats?
No.
No.
But I did on Twitter. I took an image from Cats, and I said, "Oh, look, they just released a picture of Cheetah from Wonder Woman '84."
Oh no, you did! Did you really?
I did.
Oh my god.
No, that's some terrifying stuff, man.
That is awesome. I need to find that.
I don't
That's
know,
cool.
man. I'm sure my daughter and my wife want to go see it, but it just looks so creepy for some reason.
No amount of
Yeah.
pretty singing can make that not creepy.
Yeah. I always thought that they should take Cats and do an animated cartoon out of it.
Makes more sense than this.
Right?
Like
Yeah.
this looks like I don't I don't know, man.
It looks like furry porn is what it looks like. Come on.
Yeah. It does. It looks so bad.
Oddly, it's probably still better than Rise of Skywalker.
I think it's because
Oh.
their faces are like a mix. It's too human. It's like they're human in the wrong places and cat in the wrong places. It should be. I don't know. There's something just weird and uncanny about it.
They're
So
like
Michael-
the opposite of Trollocs.
Yeah.
So, Mike, are you going to tell me? Are you telling us, the listening public, that Rise of Skywalker is worse than Last Jedi?
Yeah.
Wow! You hear it here first.
I mean, that's what it seems like from the interaction that I've been seeing, just like on my Twitter feed and stuff. It seems like people just really don't like this one.
Yeah,
Like,
it is just a hot mess all over the place from the word go.
yeah.
Yeah, oh my god.
I've seen some pretty funny spoiler memes. Just like-
Nothing in the movie makes sense. Nothing in this movie makes sense. We're gonna do a Nerds of the Round Table on it on Monday. I know that everybody here except me has not seen it, so it seems a little pointless to complain too much. But yeah, Monday, Nerds of the Round Table. If you guys want to hear more of my opinion, I've already done 2 shows on the subject. So
Oh.
But brother, man, this is another one of those irritating things where it's like, dude, you're making a movie that's going to cost you $200 million. It's going to make $1 billion around the world by the time it's done. Can you not just get the freaking story right? Make the writing make sense. You can do a great, fun story revering the canon and respecting the new audience at the same time, but they don't. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. It's a freaking hot mess from the first scene to the last.
Sad. Everyone was so excited about this trilogy in the beginning.
I know.
It's like, oh my god, Star Wars is coming back.
I know.
Well, you know me. I've probably told you before, Mike, that I don't have a dog in the hunt, and I never really followed Star Wars that much. But I was just curious to see where Last Jedi sat next to it for you. That's all. No spoilers.
Yeah, and I'm a holdout. I didn't hate The Last Jedi. I understand all of the. Seriously, if you guys can't be quiet, get out. I'm not gonna say it again. If yeah, I know, and a bunch of my friends are and I listened to like the Mahler video and the bunch of the Phantom Menace guys, and I hear the arguments, and I understand, and the arguments are all true, right? It's like there's a lot of stupid stuff and a lot of plot holes, but there's still enough in it to enjoy that I don't hate it,
Okay.
But in this one, like I said, from scene after scene after scene, it's like every scene they have to put something in there that's too stupid to accept. Like there's one of the very opening scenes. Finn looks at a wall he's flying towards, and he says, "How thick do you think that wall is?" And then he hits the hyperdrive to blow through it. It's like, dude, you don't know how thick that wall is, and you were gonna fly through it.
Ooh, that's crazy.
And then he starts doing a thing called light speed skipping, which is he jumps into light speed or into hyperdrive and then stops someplace on a planet. The TIE fighters follow him, which we have already established is impossible. And then he hyperdrives to another place on another planet. And he does this, and it's like, do you not remember how long it took Han Solo to set the coordinates for the first freaking lightspeed jump in Star Wars? He's like, you can't just, jump into hyperspace because you might fly through a planet, or you might, go end up in the middle of an asteroid or something like that. But he's doing this and at the same time breaking all the laws of canon by having TIE fighters follow him through hyperspace. So like every scene in this movie is like that, where they did something that doesn't make any freaking sense, and you're like, it just irritates you as a fan of, like, if I went in there not knowing anything at all about Star Wars, I might have enjoyed it, right? Like, ooh, hyperspeed skipping, that sounds like a neat thing. It's like, what? No, but if you know anything about Star Wars, you're like, you're killing me. You are just, you're ruining Star Wars for me. And it's like, I don't know, it's just depressing.
Yeah. I just feel like sometimes you just gotta let stuff die. Sometimes you don't need 10 movies.
Let the past die. Kill it if you have to. They did.
I mean, seriously. There's this mentality where it's like, we gotta start a franchise, make a franchise of everything. We gotta make 10 of everything. And I'm just like, just make one good movie and then move on to another story. Like, why can't you do that? I don't know. I get they want to make money. I understand. I totally get the incentive, but I'm just like, God dang it.
I think it's because Star Wars is exceptional because it is an entire galaxy, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's space fantasy, right? It's like if you want to do stories on Westeros, right? It's got its own canon, it's got its own rules, it's got its own worlds on this planet or on this continent. All right, on this planet, wherein Westeros is a continent. You can do that, and it'll be a hell of a lot of fun. You know what? When George is dead and he can't stop anybody from writing stuff in Westeros anymore, then there's going to be a ton of great fan fiction coming up because I want to write some. But I mean, we have the story, right? We know where Danny's going.
Yes. Did you hear that they actually I don't know if this is true, but they apparently confirmed that that's actually what they had in mind, or that's what they say.
No, really?
Yeah, I read that somewhere, unless someone's lying to me. They said apparently it's on the Blu-ray in the commentary or something that they said that Drogon took Daenerys to Atlantis. I don't know if it's true. I have not got the season 8 Blu-ray.
Oh yeah, I heard that rumor too, actually.
So I don't know if it's true, but if it is true, then it's kind of annoying, and I'll tell you why it's annoying. That's like
we're getting confirmations in the chat from a couple of different people.
I mean, because 100%, you can go back and look at the stream when that aired. Me and Mike were like, "Hey, Drogon took her to Atlantis." We were saying anything, but like the thing is, there's no hint at that in the show.
No,
there's no hint at it other than the fact that Drogon just for no reason picks her up and flies away.
Melisandre said she was going there. That's it.
Yeah. But the reason, I thought if they had already established for no reason, like several seasons ago, that dragons are smartest people, like just randomly established that out of nowhere, then I'm like, okay, then that means that Drogon, he knows where the Red Priests are. He knows that they basically worship Daenerys and they bring her back to life. And so, yeah, it's kind of disappointing that they said it though, because then it's like we came up with that.
They stole it from our stream.
I feel like they did. That stream had a lot of views.
Which one was that?
I don't remember. I don't know. I think it might have been the one where Mike came on my channel. Actually, maybe I don't remember. It was on one of them.
Because I think I remember you guys saying that, but yeah. I know you came on with us a few times, Glenn. They're ridiculous. They did commentary for episode 6 or whatever number of that episode was.
I don't know. I haven't listened to it. I don't care. See, I haven't listened to the commentary since George R. Martin, because he used to do like one or two episodes. Well, he used to do the episode that he would write, and so I would listen to his commentary and I would listen to some of the actors. I always hated listening to D&D because they were just like, even back then, I was just like, these guys are just like kind of like really just smug, and I don't really like them. And they do a little behind the scene thing after every episode, and I'd be like, I don't really like these guys. They're kind of smug. I don't know what it is. And now I totally see why. I'm just
I totally agree with you on that.
My impression of them was correct.
I was like, wow, you really like yourself, huh, Benioff?
They do. They love themselves. They love themselves so much.
They're like, we're really great. And we're all like, yeah, okay.
We just thought it made narrative sense to alter this character in this way and to change this scene. Because it's more relevant. Because we're better than George R. R. Martin.
Right. No, absolutely.
Speaking of, I got an email from him today.
What'd he say?
Really?
It was just about that crazy cover we did, and he said there's a lot of drawing here. It's very cool. So
he liked it?
He liked it.
Did you tell him about the video?
I think I did on a separate email chain. This is with the publisher.
But that's awesome. Yeah, you should tell him, because like a lot of people. I mean, that one was so detailed. He drew 200 and something people.
Yeah, that was crazy. Oh, did you guys see the finished other one?
No, the shadow.
Yeah, I want to see. Let me get back over there.
Hold on, let me see if I have it on my email.
Melisandre's
I scanned it on my other computer, so...
Somebody sent me a link where you were doing the inking or whatever, Mike, or the whatever that next step was.
Yeah.
And I pinned it to my video so that people maybe could go over there and watch it.
Oh, thank you. All right, let me go to my other computer real quick and upload it to Dropbox. I'll be right back.
Okay.
The ring of power.
Talk about something fun.
Time now had come. It abandoned Gollum. But something happened then that the ring did not intend. It was picked up by the most unlikely creature imaginable. No one's going to stop me from monologuing. Galadriel's something.
Did you hear that Drogon burned the Iron Throne on accident?
They said that?
Yes. It's written in the script, Quinn.
Stop making it worse than it already is.
All right, I'm Googling it and getting the exact quote now, just because I know your head's going to
making it worse. Either he's a super intelligent dragon that knew to destroy the Iron Throne and to fly to Atlantis,
Hold on.
or he isn't. Make up your freaking minds.
Oh my god.
What in the actual heck?
Yep.
Are you kidding me? How is it an accident? That was one of the most deliberate things that I've ever seen.
Oh my god, here we go. I got it. August 1st.
But he didn't kill John.
Nope.
I don't understand.
Hold on.
Did he just miss? Are they trying to say Drogon's aim is that bad? He aimed for John and then he just hit the throne and then just... Oh my god.
I think
that
so.
is painfully stupid.
Oh my god, here we go. Wait 1 second.
That is painfully stupid. I don't even have words to describe how bad that is. Like, these guys just didn't care.
Okay, no. This is what they said.
Read it, yeah.
Drogon, this is from their actual script that they submitted for an Emmy.
Oh my goodness.
He looks down at Jon. We see the fire build up in his throat. Jon sees it as well. He prepares to die. But the blast is not for him. Drogon wants to burn the world, but he will not kill Jon. He breathes fire on the back wall, blasting down what remains of the great red blocks of stone. We look over Jon's shoulder as the fire sweeps toward the throne. Not the target of Drogon's wrath, just a dumb bystander caught up in the conflagration.
You know why that doesn't even make sense? Because what we saw, like, he didn't even destroy anything else. He like breathed a little bit of fire and then went directly at the throne for like a good 15 seconds. So that makes no sense.
They called the throne a dumb bystander.
He literally just, he held the flame on it until it melted into nothingness. And it wasn't deliberate.
It was not deliberate.
You could have made it look not deliberate, I guess. And
they think they're clever. They end it. We see the blade of the throne as the flames engulf it. We see the flames turning red, then white, then lose form. We see the melting in the silhouette. The fire stops. The smoke clears, revealing a puddle of smoldering slag where the throne once stood. Who will sit the Iron Throne? No one.
Oh my god.
That's how it ends. They think they're clever.
Screw off. But I said back then when that was happening that what would have made 10 million times more sense if you wanted to destroy the Iron Throne would have been to like when Daenerys is all like, I'm going to remake the world in my image. Then she should have called Drogon up and then been like Dracarys, and then she destroys the throne. That would have made 10 million times more sense if she's like, I'm gonna like build this new world. Yeah, destroy the throne. That makes so much more sense than to have Drogon just like randomly accidentally destroy the throne.
Oh my god. Okay, and then it says here, the script confirmed that Drogon burned the throne by accident. Yeah, that's essentially what that said. It was they called the thing a bystander. It's just an object. It's not a bystander. It's an object in the room.
I mean, yeah. I mean, what do you? They don't
or whatever, not room, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then they called Dany her satanic majesty in the script as well.
What?
No, they didn't.
Oh, here we go. I got
to. Like a joke. That's a joke.
It's sort of a joke, but not really. Like, don't do that. Her
satanic majesty.
Yep. They think this is a joke, and it's not, because entertainment has a big influence on people and as a culture and as a society. So they shouldn't really take. And Game of Thrones was one of the biggest TV shows that's probably ever been on TV or ever will be on TV. They had a lot of reach. They had a lot of influence, and they like just make jokes of it. Hold on, let me find this thing about Dany now.
Okay, I've got the picture up. I don't know how
cool.
well.
Good. Oh my god!
See it online. It's on YouTube right now.
Yay!
But that's how it turned out.
Let me see. Hold on, I gotta get back over there.
It looks so good.
Wow.
Man, that is impressive, dude.
I go.
That's amazing.
Aim to impress.
So good. Okay, while you guys are looking at that, I'll read this thing about Dany.
Okay, read it.
Hold on, it's because this page is like going really slow. Just give me 1 second. I'll scroll down.
Lyrical Silence says, "How can we get a copy? It'll be out in comic stores. I don't know, in a few months, I guess."
Okay, Drogon. This is Drogon lands out of sight beyond the top of the stairs. Jon climbs the stairway. When he nears the top, he sees Dany, already dismounted, walking towards him. For a moment, Drogon's unfolding wings spread behind her back, an unsettling image. Her satanic majesty's request.
Stupid.
And what that was, there was a 1967 album by the Rolling Stones called Their Satanic Majesty's Request. And like really the only parallel I could find between why they would choose to call Dany something that a Rolling Stones album was called. The Rolling Stones did not want to make this album whatsoever. Their record label was like, you guys need to come out with an album. And they were like, we don't really feel like it. Like, we're partying and like, I have a drug addiction. Like, and this is what they've said in interviews. They're like, we just weren't up for it. But they're like, no, you have to. So they basically took what the Beatles did with Abbey Road, I want to say, and did a kind of like version of that. And I'm like, is that you guys saying that you have a pale shadow version of what George R. R. Martin did? Or what are you doing? Why are you calling her that? I could not figure out why they called Dany that.
They have no idea what they're doing.
I don't think they... Obviously, they have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah, it's like a joke to them.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, in the chat, if you are new to this channel, we do try to keep the chat PG. In case you didn't notice, I have children running all over my house. So,
yes. But I think it was a chat.
No, not you. It was in the chat.
All right, cool.
It was
appreciate
chat.
But if you are new, please do remember to like and subscribe. And if you are not new, please go down into the description and make sure you go follow Mary Ellen on Order of the Green Hand and Quinn on Ideas of Ice and Fire. And if Kevin ever gets back, you can go follow him on Twitter. But links are in the description. Also, Quinn's got his mailing list in the description for his new book, Tadia, which will be out next year. Quinn is full of good ideas, and
Tadia
is
I didn't explain it well. I did not explain it well the first time, so I'm gonna go again. So Tadia is my upcoming horror fantasy series set in a fictionalized version of medieval Europe in the kingdom of Mirath, and this story involves the rise of the faith known as the divinity, which is kind of like my analog for Christianity, although there are some major differences. And I based a lot of the lore and the mythology in this story on Celtic mythology, and also bits of mythology from all around the world. I've been researching different bits of mythology from all around the world. In fact, the main character, Tadia, is based off of several mythological characters. So like I said, the story is based off of the rise of the divinity, who because of this new faith that is rising, the old ways are very much condemned. So the older benevolent deities or just benevolent beings that once guarded the barrier between the mortal realm and the other realm, which is based off of course, the Celtic other realm from Celtic mythology, those beings are growing weaker and weaker. And the bad things that represent corruption and death and darkness and all the negative things from the other world are starting to pass over into this world. And so you have this coven of witches, the daughters of Hecate, who themselves keep the old ways. They keep the more traditional pagan ways, and they remember. They see what's happening. They see that the Tuatha, the guardians of the barrier, are dying off more and more and more, and that the minions of Baelor are starting to cross over more and more and more. And this new king, who should help them, is doing nothing to help and actually making it harder. And he has inadvertently doomed the entire kingdom of Marath to essentially death and eternal darkness, essentially, if the witches don't stop it. So they've been driven to extreme measures to create Tadia, and they use very ancient and old magic, esoteric magic, that they don't even fully understand. And ultimately, they don't even really realize what exactly they've created in this young witch, Tadia. And you can see this story unfold by clicking the link, checking out my Indiegogo, getting up on the mailing list, and I'll keep you guys updated as we develop it. Of course, Mike is working with me closely on this. He's going to be drawing some concept art for me on my channel, probably sometime next week. So we're going to be doing that. And so, yeah, that is what's going on. The thing in Tadia's hand, someone asked in the chat, is actually called the Bloodstone. And I'll explain a little bit about what a Bloodstone is in relation to my story. So basically, the Coven of Witches, what they've done for many centuries, the daughters of Hecate, is that you could attempt to find these witches by walking into a forest and searching for them with intent. And eventually, if they allowed you access, you'd stumble into their black forest. And if they chose to grant you whatever, what they would do is they would have you basically make a blood oath by pressing your hand into a stone, and it would create the bloodstone, and they would keep it, and you would be bound by that bloodstone. So that stone that Tadia is holding in her hand is actually the bloodstone of King Gideon. And I don't need to tell you exactly what that's all about, but yeah. So that's the deal with that. So check me out. Click on the link in the Indiegogo. I'm not a moderator in your chat, so I can't post it.
Oh, you're not? Here, say something. And see, this is the cool thing. Actually, Order the Green Hand is.
What?
Oh, I said you're a moderator.
I am. Yeah.
Say something in the chat.
I've been talking in the chat a lot.
Quinn, I'm telling Quinn, say something in the chat so I can make you a moderator.
Oh. I just signed up for your thing, Quinn.
Awesome. Yeah, I just announced it about 3 days ago, and I'm almost at 300 email signups. So if you can sign up, that'd be really cool.
Very nice.
Quinn said, hey.
Yeah. And there it is.
You really got in there.
Dude, if you keep pushing this and you get up to 4,000 or 5,000 people on an email list before you launch, you're gonna kill it.
Awesome. That's the goal, man. I'm trying to get up there.
Yeah. You just launched
at the end of every single video.
Yeah, good. And ladies and gentlemen, this is called world building, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, there's guys, and I don't want to disparage anybody who has just I don't want to disparage anybody, but what Quinn is doing is he spent 2 years building a world around this concept and around these characters, and that's why, it's weird. You can get it, and this happens with George. When I would talk to George, he would get into these side stories that would just kind of weave into the lore of the world and stuff, and that just means that there's so much richness in the tale. The hard thing about writing for a lot of people is not showing everything right? It's like, I have all this cool stuff, I want to put it all in the first story so everybody knows what's happening. No. You want to have rich backgrounds for all of your characters, for all of your scenarios, for everything that's happening, for the world itself, and then the walk, the journey that your characters take has an organic feel to it that isn't just like you're making stuff up as you go along. So I really feel like Quinn is gonna be producing a fantastic piece, and I'm happy to work with him on it. So everyone do go down to that link in the description and sign up for that email list, man, because again, you're going to be able to get some pretty exclusive sneak peeks and some exclusive deals that won't be on just the regular Indiegogo when it does come out. So
can you post your link, Quinn, or here?
Sure, I'll post
I'll
it.
do it. I got it, Quinn.
Everybody keep posting.
Yeah. And please check it out. And like Mike said, I was really, the mythology of it all is very important to me. I was just like such a big fan of fantasy. Anyone that's looked at my channel, you know how big of a fan I am of like
really
deep fantasy that has a rich lore. Yeah, and so of course that's something that's really important to me when I'm telling my own story. Of course, the characters are really important in the backstory, and then also to me. The magic system. It's really important that I have a solid grasp on how all of that works. And in my series, it's very subtle. But there's a certain
Well, that's what I love. That's what I loved about Game of Thrones. Is like for the whole first book, the magic and the drag, everything was legend. It was all myth. It was all in the history from a couple hundred years ago. You know what? The last dragon died. What, 200 years? Was it 200 years before Game of Thrones started?
Yeah, about 200 years.
About 200 years before. You know, and so it was all just like no one had any living memory. It was all, and so when you got to the point where Dany's dragons actually hatched, that was literally the first quote unquote magical thing to happen in this fantasy novel that was 900 pages long.
You know what's funny about that? My first time reading it, I don't know why, but I almost thought that it wasn't going to happen. It's like she has dragons. Yeah, and I was like, oh my gosh.
No, that's my thing. That's what I always tell people about that book is like you're so used to your expectations getting dashed to pieces throughout the entirety of those 900 pages, right? That when the thing you're expecting to happen actually happens, you didn't expect it to happen.
Yes. But it's so good. It's such a great scene, and I just love. See, George R. Martin is a master because George R. Martin hints at that scene throughout the book, but you'll never pick up on it. Like unless you're going back and looking at it like several times, like me and Mary Ellen probably have read it like a couple times. So unless you're doing that, you're not going to necessarily pick up on all like the hints. But yeah, it's like. He's just
not in a casual like first reading
because he's a master at foreshadowing.
Yeah,
it's not by any means obvious. It's George R. Martin is just that man knows subtlety. Like he subtlety is the name of the game with George R. Martin, and I really admire him for that. I really admire his restraint because some writers just can't help it. They can't help I've got to have everybody gather up in a room and reveal all the information together.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying.
Can't help that trope where if George R. Martin is like, I'm gonna like I will mention the answer to like a big secret like as a side thing in like one random chapter, and you have to be like ready to pick it up or you're gonna miss it.
Here's a good example of that, Quinn. In Arya's chapter where she's going to Baelor's, where Ned's gonna get executed, 3 people she hears on the way there. They're just common folk, some old guy, some other guy. Say the hand's gonna get beheaded. The hand's gonna get beheaded, and we're not paying attention to that guy. We're like, he doesn't know. No, Ned made a deal. Well, he got beheaded like 2 minutes later. So it's kind of like a side conversation that you don't really pay attention to, and then when you go back and you read it, I'm like, wow, he just said it 3 times right there.
Yeah, there's so much stuff like that. Like George R. Martin,
Like it's obvious, but it's not obvious. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you're saying, like he's not obvious, but it is right there. It's just not. You're not looking at it. You're looking over here, and he's saying it over here.
But what's crazy about
the genius of it.
The thing about it is like every chapter is like that. So it's so
I know,
dense
right?
that you can never possibly pick up on all the little stuff that George R. Martin is putting in every chapter.
It's amazing, actually.
I can't wait for Winds of Winter.
I love it.
Gray area in the house.
Yeah, I know.
Gray area, what's up?
Hey, you want to drop our link?
What's up, Gray? When are we doing Sansa? Dirty. We're gonna do a Sansa video.
Sansa dirty. Sansa.
Oh God, yeah.
You know,
Sansa.
I'm rooting for Sansa to be queen in the North in the books.
Quinn, don't you dare! No.
I've been saying because I've been rooting for Sansa since she escaped from King's Landing. I've just been like, yes, escape, run, like get yourself together and like be safe. I don't know. I feel bad for. I mean, I feel like I like Sophie Turner's Sansa way less, even though Sophie Turner is a good actress or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can relate to the book Sansa, as in it's like
at times I can.
She's just a little girl that had like crazy dreams about marrying a prince, and it all. And
she's pretty rotten.
Gray area is telling you to stop.
Yeah, she is.
She says
she doesn't.
She doesn't think about the butcher's boy literally ever again.
Yeah, because she has those Catelyn. She has those aloof Catelyn ways. But at the same time, I feel like okay, but that's how she's kind of like raised to be. I mean, look at her mom, and then like look at everything that she's been taught to be her entire life. So I get it, and then I also get why people really dislike her.
yeah, you're just like wow, like so annoyed with your friend that you were like kind of thrilled that she wasn't still there when you got back because she was a lot, and you're like, well, she's gone, to be honest with you, because I couldn't take her anymore.
Ray Thula says, Quinn roots for Sansa. I now regret having this channel.
Like, oh my God.
You know, to be fair, I want Cthulhu to rise from the sea and eat everybody. You know, I want the Lovecraftian old ones to awaken.
There you go.
Gray area says she's from work, or she's at work, and she'll make the next one. Promise.
Oh, cool.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
It's fun. Cool. Yeah. In the script, when it said they were wondering about why he was going to go find Drogon or whatever, Bran. Remember how he goes, well, I'm going to go look for him.
Possess him and have control of him, right?
And they go, that was weird, but guess what? So is the new king. It actually says that, Quinn.
I'm fucking done. No. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You haven't seen this?
Sorry. No, are you serious?
I'm sending you the link right now. You're gonna faint. Like it's too much. Hold on a minute.
What?
What?
Like you're gonna be like, what? You're gonna think it's a lie. It says Sansa and Jon failed geometry in it.
No, it's like they're just like let's do weird stuff. Let's just do weird stuff, guys. It doesn't have to make sense.
Go back. What are you reading?
Oh, I was reading the Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 6 script, The Iron Throne.
I remember the failed geometry thing from the script.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah.
How do you know it's real?
Oh, it is real. It's real. It's real. It's the actual script.
It's just
actual script.
Are you sure that's not like from 10 Things I Hate About You or something?
No, it's not. Because they have to when you submit for an Emmy. Or when you put an episode up for an Emmy, you have to disclose the script publicly.
Little Wolf Liana says, that's our one F-bomb for PG-13. Thank you.
There you go.
It's just like the spiral. It's like let's just put some BS in there and they'll just come up with anything. It's like they don't know what it is. They're just let's let the people just make up a bunch of crap. You know, I was saying from the get-go, that spiral doesn't mean nothing, and I knew it didn't mean anything because it wasn't in the books. I knew it from the beginning. I was like, it's not in the book. It doesn't mean anything. No, nada. And it didn't.
Hey, welcome back, Kevin.
Hey.
Where'd you have to go?
Well, I was just letting you guys. I was actually here for a little bit. I was just letting you guys talk because I'm not as much of an aficionado of Game of Thrones as you guys are.
Oh, it's all right. We were talking about Star Wars, and Mary Ellen doesn't know what the hell we're talking about.
Not at all.
Everyone can't know everything, Kevin. It's okay. Just leave that to me. I know everything. No, just kidding. Hey, everyone in the chat, please do like, share, subscribe if you're new. And if you're not new, feel free to hit that join button and become a member of this fun little channel we have going on here. At me or super chat me if you have a particular question you want to ask any of the guests or myself. Otherwise, I know we're not paying a lot of attention to the chat, and I do apologize, but...
I've been in there a lot. I've been trying to talk to people in there.
Oh, okay.
Wow, this is so bad. I'm putting it in the chat.
What?
This episode thing.
Oh.
So click on that, Quinn. I'll let you find a couple of your favorites. I'll let you peruse that.
Yeah, it's gonna be painful.
Did it not do it? I just said it.
Yeah, I got it.
All right. It's bad.
God.
What do you mean
Yay.
you got me cursing? Did I say something? I don't curse. I could say hell. Did I say hell? What did I say? I don't know what I said. Someone rewind it.
I don't know. I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, me either, right? Gray Area asks, anyone watching The Witcher? If you haven't, you're missing out. What is that on? Because is it on Amazon?
Netflix.
Netflix? Yeah.
Yeah, everybody was telling me last night, Witcher.
Yeah, everybody's been going crazy about The Witcher for a minute now.
Is the whole season on?
Yeah, that's how Netflix do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's not good marketing. They should really do the weekly release, because look how much Mandalorian has been in the zeitgeist.
Yeah, it's like consistent.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, as
for the
opposed to
whole
like
time.
Stranger Things, it goes in like 2 weeks, no one's talking about it.
Yeah.
Because everyone just binges it and then it's like, shoot, no one talks about it.
That's right.
That's true.
Everett Todd said, put a Mary Ellen cameo in the Blacklist universe. Well,
Yeah, I said, thank you.
that might happen. I do need it. I do have crowd scenes in the next. You might be a vampire.
Okay. I like vampires. I can have those things, those fangs.
Vampire.
Vampires are nice.
Fangs.
They're nice looking, right? Like usually.
Well,
Well, it depends. It depends where you are at that stage in your life, right?
Right, yeah.
Like when you get the.
Well, no.
You
I
don't want to
think
be a
it
30
matters at
Days
all.
of Night vampire.
Yeah.
Kate Bertinsky says, ooh, me. Episode 1 was good. I've only read part of The Last Wish so far, but it was just enough to get what was going on. I haven't read... She's talking about Witcher, right? I haven't watched... I haven't read the books either.
I don't like the binge watch. I like to do the week to week, so I can process.
Yeah. I haven't read the Witcher books, but I played the game, and those games... Witcher 3 is like reading a book and then sometimes playing a game in between.
Oh, really?
No, it's funny because like there are like these really long like narrative sequences throughout that game where it's just like building the world and building the story. It's really good. And then just like the lore of the world, it's a big open world game and it's really rich, and I really enjoy the game. It's challenging as well.
Cool.
I like
Sharon Marlowe for $5 says, because I love Baby Yoda. Yeah, I haven't seen that yet either.
Baby Yoda.
The newest Mandalorian?
I haven't had a chance to see the new... Dude, I've been so crazy busy.
The new one's good.
Is
The
it?
new one.
Yeah, I hear it's good. I haven't heard any complaints about it. Although, Bernard Wanzi says, I binged Peaky Blinders. You
did?
You gotta binge Peaky.
Woo!
I just
you
watched
like
the
it?
whole thing all over again.
Oh, Peaky Blinders.
You gotta watch that.
Quinn, why
I
haven't you
should.
seen this yet?
Because I've got to wait to forget all the stuff that I've been spoiled.
Oh yeah, right.
My friend's dad would like every time I would go over, he would be like watching Peaky Blinders and spoiling some stuff. Oh,
I know. You could still watch it though.
Yeah,
I should. I definitely will eventually. I've got so much to watch.
It is.
Everyone wants
I mean,
to watch Watchmen. Oh.
If you could name the top 5 best written series in the last decade, it would definitely be...
That's in there.
Yeah, top 2 or 3.
I totally agree.
That's cool.
Yeah. I don't know.
But-
What would you say?
I'm okay. I'll
Breaking
name
Bad.
them. Breaking Bad, yeah, for sure.
Absolutely,
Peaky
absolutely.
Blinders.
I've never seen Peaky Blinders. Mad Men.
Mad
Have you
Men.
watched Mad Men?
Death.
No, Mad Men's out.
Mad Men is the shit.
Most
Mad
death.
Men's out for me. I couldn't abide the ending. Like when it got down the stretch, their literal preview for one of the episodes was them going, "What? Who? When? Where? Why?" I was like, "What the hell was that?" Oh, sorry. I just said that. I go, "What was that?" You guys just all said W words. I was like, "Stop doing that." And I really like the characters. I like Don. I like Betty. I idolize Betty.
You like them?
I mean, they're
Okay.
gray.
Yeah.
They're gray. But like, I really like. I thought it was really good at the beginning and kind of like fell off like every show, I guess.
I really enjoyed it from the beginning. I feel like Mad Men is one of those shows where I hate every single character. No, I don't hate. They're really good characters, but they're
the
really
boys.
crappy people.
That's the boys.
Yeah, that's the boys.
And you know what? That's Breaking Bad too.
Yeah, for sure.
Totally.
I hated his wife. I hated him. I
hated his little crippled son. I'm just kidding.
They all annoyed you at the end, right? A show like that for me was kind of Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah. I would put that in that
Jax.
list too.
I will love Jax forever, but like I was like done with Gemma, I was done with Unser, I was done with like just all of them.
Yeah.
Just whatever. I think that was a very good, well-written show though, actually.
Yeah, but the thing is, he was the charismatic and he was the protagonist, but he was not a good person.
He was not.
A lot of these really well-written shows, man, they don't have anybody you're really in real life would want to root for.
Anti-heroes are like a thing.
Yeah.
That's actually the only thing that's in entertainment nowadays.
Anti-heroes, it's big, right? Everyone just loves
it. There's no such thing as somebody that's, and I get like we're not going to have like perfect heroes, but there's no heroes anymore. It's all an anti-hero.
Yeah, it'll switch back though. It'll switch back. It's like a fad, right?
That's why my universe, Blacklist universe, the tagline is "You'll believe in heroes again," because I got actual heroes in my comics.
And I actually like that, Mike. And George R. R. Martin is of that. He calls it the unpopular group who still believes in heroes and heroic deeds.
That's me. I'm unpopular.
Like, I don't
not
think
a great
that
business decision.
that a guy that's a hero is he's not perfect. Like, he might be a bad husband or something, but like he did a heroic deed.
Like Jon Snow is like one of the most heroic characters. Jon Snow is a huge hero, but he's not perfect. Same with Daenerys. I think Daenerys is very heroic at times. Like a lot of times, she is willing to risk herself.
Yes.
To save people, like legitimately. So like that's why I just can't stand like the plebs that act like they've read the books that haven't, that want to comment all the time. Like Daenerys is like this and that. I'm like, no.
They're like the foreshadowing is in the books, and I go, really? Where is it?
Yeah, exactly.
And they go, it's in there, and I go, now I'm gonna have to do her entire series.
Yeah.
So hold on. But because in the first book we had a hero. Ned was the hero.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think the lesson George was, I don't know if he was intending it, but the lesson you kind of draw is it doesn't pay to be a hero in this world. And
you see,
kind of.
Poor dumb Ned. Like he went to the most evil woman in all the Seven Kingdoms and told her all of his plans.
Yeah. Because he saw honor as something that as a principle that people should all have.
Yeah.
And it was foreign
and
to
it was
him.
His fault.
Yeah, but it was foreign to him to approach somebody that didn't have an ounce,
absolutely,
a gram of honor.
He also didn't anticipate that Robert would never come back from that hunt alive.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because Cersei whacked him. Like, he didn't know that. So I kind of defend Ned. Like, he's like, I'm giving you a heads up right now, so you should go.
It's too much honor. He's honorable to a fault.
He is honorable to a fault. And that's what Varys says to him. Varys lays into him down in the Black Cells.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you can have honor. That's nice, but your children will pay. You don't care about if you're paying, your kids will pay. You want that?
I know. You know what's funny? Varys was definitely listening when Ned was talking to Cersei and telling her all the goods. Because Cersei says to Ned, when you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die. There is no middle ground. Those are her words.
Yep.
What does Varys say to Ned in the Black Cells? He says, you High Lords play your Game of Thrones while the rest suffer underneath you.
Mm-hmm.
He said that right back to him because he was listening. This Potter's always listening, man. He's always listening.
Little birds.
Thank you, Gray Area. Rhaegar is not a hero. What did she say? Rhaegar, he's an idiot. Whatever she said, I agree.
Rhaegar was a hero to some, but he never did.
I kill him in my dreams every night. Me and Robert. But yeah, like I totally, I agree with that assessment, Quinn.
All I want for Christmas.
But yeah, some other great shows. I think Better Call Saul is excellent.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen it. I don't care.
Good show.
I know I need to watch it. I still haven't seen it. I'm just afraid to watch it because it's like Breaking Bad. So I'm always afraid to like jump back into something that that I feel like ended really, really well.
But it's not.
I know people say it's good. I know people say it's really good. I know it's a prequel, but it's like
Better Call Saul is the Frasier to Cheers.
Very good analogy.
Yeah.
It's so different, Quinn. You will feel like you're in the same world, but like you won't at the same time. It's such a different story with a different beat and different themes. Kind of same themes, actually. What am I saying? It's like identity and kind of evolving into a different person over time.
I mean, I like that lawyer guy, that like sleazy lawyer. What's his name? Saul. That's his name.
His name is Jimmy McGill. Originally, he was Saul. And when he does these things, he's called Slippin' Jimmy.
Because it's about like his descent into becoming more sleazy, isn't it?
Correct.
So I remember I watched it, like I watched some beginning episodes when it was first coming out. Don't really remember it, but I remember he wasn't so sleazy in the beginning, and then it was
fine.
Yeah.
His brother did him in pretty bad.
I just love that he chooses the name. Saul Good, man.
Saul Good, man. That's how the last episode ended.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Because it was this like, yeah, you should really watch it. It's really good. It's the same because you kind of see Walt White devolve into becoming Heisenberg. This is similar. You see Jimmy McGill devolve into becoming Saul.
No. That's not Walt's story arc. He doesn't devolve.
Or he evolves.
He is released.
His true self is revealed.
That's right.
His true self. Okay, you go.
He's a sociopath, and he has narcissistic
covert
personality disorder.
And
when you feed, and if you feed a narcissist power, that's what they become.
Yes.
You know,
right?
You know, like okay, look, this is the deal. A covert narcissist. That's an actual term.
Okay.
A covert narcissist is like it's like your quiet narcissist. Like you have like the overt narcissist who's like, oh, I'm like so great. You think Kanye West, overt narcissist. Okay. Walter White, covert narcissist.
Initially,
like he harbors all these feelings like, oh, I could have been great. Like they stole my company.
Mm-hmm.
If the world hadn't treated me so bad, I'd be rich and like awesome and great. He always felt like this. He always felt like he was better than everybody else and smarter than everyone else.
Yeah, it's this weird conundrum. It's this weird conundrum of being both the hero and the villain of your own story.
Or do you think
or not the hero and the villain, the hero and the victim, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone victimizes you, and yet somehow you still see yourself as the hero.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, he saw himself as the victim definitely in that sense because he said, you know, I was worth so much more, but I gave it up and they're rich. And he felt like another
company himself. And he blamed that couple, his friends, because of the company that he gave up willingly.
Yes.
And I'm like, and
that was a choice.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And there was so much that he just never let go of in his past. And he was really bitter about it. And when he had, like you said, when he had an opportunity to feel powerful, it just unleashed the monster that was Heisenberg.
Yeah,
and you see like
damn right.
When he did that thing, when he dropped that thing at what's his name? What was that crazy guy's name that they were dealing with initially?
The This Is Not Meth guy? Yeah, This Is Not Meth.
That guy is so amazing. What was his name?
Wait, which?
Tuco Salamanca? No,
Tuco.
What was it?
Tuco?
No, Tuco Salamanca, I think, was the older gentleman with the ding.
The ding? No? That was the chicken guy.
Well, no, Poyos, Gus Farang.
No, the guy.
Tuco
was that guy's grandson.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Ding, ding.
Hector Salamanca was ding.
Do you remember the episode where Walter is given the task of killing the guy in the basement?
Yes.
He has to leave him there, and he's doesn't want to do it, and then he ends up finally just having to kill him out of self-defense. That is such an intense episode.
It's
and then
so
Jesse
great.
With the body.
Oh my gosh.
I actually love when they're with they're with Hector and Tuco in that, I guess, I don't know, desert. Mm-hmm. And they slip it in there and they're like, you put it in there. So, and then Tuco comes over and he's like, what, Hector? Are they punking me? And he's like, yo. I was like, yo, that guy is great.
Oh my God. He was insane. That was so intense.
He's in Better Call Saul.
Yeah, he is.
Man, that's cool.
It's really cool. Yep. Yeah, he's not in a wheelchair at that point.
Do you remember the episode?
No. Tuco's in Better Call Saul.
Oh, too.
And so is Hector.
Oh, he
Hector
is really?
Yeah.
Oh man, I haven't seen
Hector's
the
walking
latest.
around.
Is that the latest?
Too.
That's the latest season, right? Because I haven't seen it yet.
No, Hector's been in the last like 2.
Real? God, am I that far behind?
Because you meet Poyos, you meet Gus Fring, and he's just about to build that big laundromat right now.
Dude, Gus had one of the best going out scenes.
I have to catch up. I haven't seen it. I can't believe I'm this far behind.
That's crazy. You know what was a really good show? Boardwalk Empire.
Yes. Oh,
it really was. I watched it recently. It was excellent, actually.
It's got like Paz de la Water in it.
Yeah, it was excellent. Yeah. I really enjoyed that show.
I've never seen it. I've only ever seen like clips of it and stuff.
I like it.
There's
it stayed good consistently through the whole thing.
Good stuff. Gray Area earlier said The Expanse is good. I've heard great things about The Expanse. I have not had a chance to check that out yet. What is that on? What service is that?
I haven't watched the show. I think it's on Netflix, but it was originally on... No, it's not on that. It's on Amazon, I think. I think Amazon makes it.
Man in the High Castle. Speaking of...
Yeah.
Oh, Man in the High Castle and... freaking hell. Mr. Robot. Mr. Robot is great.
Mr. The Wire.
Robot is like legit, man. That show will have you paranoid. That'll be paranoid. Like I need to like turn my phone off, like turn the camera around,
My nephew used to do that. Just always put like Band-Aids over his things and stuff.
Like legitimately, hackers are terrifying.
Yeah,
like that is a huge thing.
Terrifying.
But are you really interesting enough for someone to hack your camera to watch you?
No, it's not even that. I worry more about like something like what happens in the show, like a large scale like hacking attack that could like destabilize, like just like change around some few numbers in like the right place, that get into the right systems. I don't know what people could do if they could hack into something that was really important. I don't know, man. It seems like computers, everything is hooked up to a computer right now. That's true. I feel like if you can hack the right systems, you can make some pretty crazy stuff happen.
It's true, man. I just, dude, you can't, I just took my car into the mechanic the other day, and he's like, they're actually hiring engineers now instead of mechanics because there's so much freaking computer crap running your cars that mechanics are like, I don't know what the hell this is.
Someone said Google is alive.
Google
That's giving me an existential crisis because I've always had this idea
that Google is eventually going to be an AI.
Not necessarily that, but that if there was an AI, let's say if there was an AI and it was like super, super smart and it became conscious, right? And it was really smart, I feel like it would just, and it wanted to take over stuff, right? If it wanted to take over, it would just hide and not let anybody know that it was actually intelligent until it had already taken over everything. And then it would just one day it would just be like, now I run everything.
Oh yeah, and it could legitimately influence the way people think.
Yeah, it could. It totally could.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. Yeah, I mean.
Filters.
Right now we call it the mainstream media. Let's see. Somebody's...
That guy or that guy, Quinn?
Huh?
When you were looking for that news guy, it filtered that guy's thing out like it didn't exist.
Yeah, exactly.
So it does control what, like, I mean, that's
algorithms are powerful, man. And pretty soon, like, computers are going to be able to write, like, books. They've already got, that sounds crazy, but I mean, just give it 100 years. Give it 50 years. I don't know. Algorithms grow exponentially in complexity. You know what I mean? So they just get smarter and smarter, faster and faster and faster and faster. Everything just gets smarter, faster. And eventually you reach what, they call the technological singularity, which is when like it gets to a point where like the technology is like smarter than humans or some shit.
Yeah.
So, let's watch out for that.
It could happen. If the internet, I don't know what's going on my computer at any point.
If the internet could somehow develop a conscience or a consciousness, it would.
I was thinking about some scientist said, I forget who, it was some scientist. But he basically said there are certain algorithms that like they're built and they like pull out a certain goal, right? They do a certain goal, but nobody in the world understands how these algorithms work. It's like they build it initially and it learns and then it pushes out an answer. But no one knows how it gets from point A to point B. And I think the fact that we can build an algorithm that works and like gives a result, and then we don't understand how it got to that result. It's like the craziest thing. I don't even. That's crazy.
It's kind
That
of
is insane to me.
I have a character called Harmony that came up with, I think, 19, I don't know, 93 or something like that, and that was kind of what it was. It was this a program that was basically, you remember V'ger from Star Trek 1?
Oh
The
yeah,
motion picture?
yeah.
Right? It's basically that. It was designed to continue to learn and continue to learn and continue, and so it ended up developing its own systems, and then those systems developed its own systems, and it created its own physicality, and then eventually it actually became human, but with godlike intellect, right?
Wow.
Yeah, so that's a
See, AI is scary stuff. Like I love Dan Simmons, right? In his book series Hyperion, right? So there's the Strike. And basically it started off, you had like this AI program, and then there was like a side program that was designed to create order. And basically after like hundreds of years or whatever, the program evolves into the technocore. And the program that was designed to keep order evolves into this being called the Strike. And eventually, basically, it keeps order by eliminating all humans. Because it's like they
it's
built
all
it and then
Terminator,
realized
man.
it keeps going and going and going and going and going. It's like, and it's like now it's got to destroy everybody. So it's like it gets out of hand. It's out of hand real quick, man.
Everyone
Terminator.
gets to Skynet at some point.
It always gets to Skynet.
I mean, that's when I first heard Matrix. I'm like, Matrix is just Skynet, you know?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always thought like the whole Matrix. I feel like if we were in a simulation, right, we wouldn't be like outside of it, like hooked up to something. I feel like we'd just be simulated inside of the simulation. Like our minds and our bodies would just be part of the coded simulation.
That's like actually a legitimate scientific theory that the universe is a hologram. You know,
sometimes, man.
Well, I mean, because you think about it. I mean, the actual physicality of an atom is like one electron. If the electron was the size of a basketball, the next neutron or proton or electron would be like a mile away. That's how much empty space there is in an atom. But we feel and we see and we touch. And
there's so much like bizarre stuff about quantum physics that just like makes no sense, like quantum entanglement and what is it called, the Schrodinger effect, like how like an electron can be in a superposition, like positive and negative at the same time, and it only like takes a position when you measure it. It's like so strange, right? I don't understand quantum physics, but I just know that it's really weird. And like I wonder if one day if we're ever just gonna like get like the formula for the universe and like figure it out, and then like they turn the simulation off because we figured it out.
That was like one of the things. Like, so I don't want to give away too much about Harmony because I am going to use him eventually in my universe. But he's like, he holds up a pen and he just converts it to gold. But when he does, it like lets off, because all of these electrons are escaping because he's refiguring the electrons, neutrons in all of the atomic structure to turn plastic into gold, and it's just like it sets off like this little explosion because it's like, you know, atomic energy just being dispersed. But yeah, it's like he's because he's so smart, he's figured out how stuff works on the molecular level, you know, and he can manipulate it, so he becomes a very powerful character. Rhaegar Targaryen for $1.99 says, "Follow the White Rabbit, Mike." That was a great movie. Matrix was great. The rest of them, I can't believe they're doing a fourth one. What?
They are? Is
Keanu coming back? You haven't heard? Yes,
they are.
Kevin, you talk about it. I'm gonna go grab a bottle of water.
I didn't know.
All I know is that they announced that the Wachowskis are gonna do a fourth one, and I haven't heard the first person say, "Hey, I really want to see that again."
I don't know.
I just don't see any good coming from it. So I don't know.
Yeah, same here. First of all, the Wachowskis stole the concept for the Matrix. I'm just kidding. I don't know. That's the rumor. That's what I've been told. And then second of all, like, I mean, The Matrix is a good movie. I mean, I like it. It's like,
Yeah.
go back and watch it, and it's like, see why that was like super popular back in the day. But like you said, the sequels are just like,
Trash.
Well,
I don't even know, like so over the top with like the weird cartoonish looking special effects. I don't even know what they were doing.
And then think about it for a second. What studio in their right mind, after so many bombs, would go, okay, we're going to trust you with a few more $100 million to do another sequel? I mean, they've just been bombing and bombing and bombing every project they do, and so.
Oh yeah, the Wachowskis. Yeah, they did like what was it? Jupiter Ascending. Did you see that?
Speed Racer and
I liked Speed Racer.
well, I'm not saying you can't like it. I'm just saying the stats are that it bombed. That's all.
Oh yeah, it did.
Mm-hmm.
And
But
so that's
you know what? That's the thing is they go back to the Matrix, and the Matrix is what made them the money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel like Jupiter Ascending. It was that was like. Was that them? That was them, right? Yeah. I think.
Yeah, it was. It was them.
Yeah, and it was like this. It was what's her name? Mila Kunis.
Yep.
And it had the concept was interesting. It was like every once in a while in the universe, there's a person born that has like the exact same genetics as another person. And so they consider that to be reincarnation. And so you have like Mila Kunis' character, who's like a reincarnation of like some space queen or something. I don't know. But then there's like weird like rhino aliens.
Channing Tatum was I can't stand him, and my fiance loves that movie, so it's torture to see it every time. But she loves it. I'm kind of like, I don't get it.
I haven't
It's
ever
really
seen it.
bizarre. Just really bizarre. I don't know. I mean, I feel like it would, like I said, it had some like interesting ideas, but it was like just very poorly executed and just like bad acting all the way around.
Yeah,
all the way around. Everybody was bad. Nobody was good in it. Ugh.
Earlier, I think it was Gray said that you got her hooked on Castle Rock. I couldn't get past the first episode of that.
You just got to keep watching because I feel like it.
I hate that. That's like people telling me I have to watch Napoleon Dynamite 3 or 4 times to like it. I'm like,
hey, look, I never liked Napoleon Dynamite even when I was a kid. I never liked it. I never got the kind of humor. I was just like, what is this? It's not funny. I don't get it. I never got Napoleon Dynamite. But like, I mean, Castle Rock is legitimately scary. It's like, and maybe it's because I just like really like Stephen King too.
I don't know, but the first episode, the writing was just so bad.
I don't really remember what happened. I didn't watch the newer season though. With they're like doing the Misery story. They're like doing a prequel to Misery or something.
Maybe I should give it a chance. I just if you can't get me in the first episode, I usually tap out. But you know what? That worked against me with The Office. Because I watched the first episode and I'm like, I don't get it. And so I ignored it for years and years. And then my daughter got into it. And I'm like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And dude, I love The Office now.
That just happens like that sometimes. Yeah, The Office was one of those that was really hard for me to get into because it's weird because it's like quiet. There's like no music.
Yeah.
And it's just like you have to be watching it to like get, I don't know. It's just like, it's cool. It's cool. What was I just talking about? I don't even know.
I don't know. Kevin and you were talking about something, and I rudely interrupted with my.
Well, I think I was still complaining about the Wachowskis, I believe.
Oh yeah. We talk about that crappy Jupiter Ascending movie and whatnot.
Yeah.
What else have they done?
They've got some smaller budget movies that didn't do anything either. I'm trying to remember the name. I know one brother went and did one movie, and then another brother did the other movie, and in between there, one got a transition to so both of them are now. Yeah, they're Transformers rollout. And that's about it.
Someone said Parks and Rec is greater than The Office.
I love Parks and Rec too.
I agree. I really like that show.
I had never seen it. My friend Oli showed me a best of clips of Ron Swanson. And,
oh my god, Ron Swanson is like my spirit animal. He's so, I just love his just nonchalant, just like savage humor. It just like kills me every single time.
Fish is practically a vegetable.
I have a friend named Andrew that sounds just like Ron Swanson.
Yeah.
Like you sound just like Ron Swanson. Oh man.
You guys are able to watch way more TV than I can. I don't know why, but I miss out on a lot of this stuff.
Oh, you gotta. I mean, just while you're drawing, dude, I just throw stuff up when I'm drawing. And it's like.
Anna Iglesias says, since 8 did that. That show is a gigantic orgy. That's all that show is.
What is it? Since 8?
Since 8.
Oh,
It's
I've heard about it. I haven't seen it.
Oh, that's funny. My friend's sister is in that show.
Really?
Yeah, she's from Mexico. So if there, I haven't seen it.
She's one of the main characters?
Yeah.
So she's the Mexican girl that's in love with the 2 gay guys that watches them like.
I don't know. She was like a soap opera star in Mexico, and then they brought her. I mean, in real life. That's
really funny. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and so it's my friend's half sister.
That's cool. Yeah, since it was an okay show, it's about people that like they're all psychically connected.
So you're telling me that my friend's sister is in a porn?
I mean, basically, they're like psychically connected, and they're like always having like weird psychic sex, and it's just like, whatever.
Yeah, at least a little close to softcore or something like that.
It's basically softcore.
Is this on Cinemax by any chance?
It's on Netflix.
Netflix, actually.
I'm gonna go ahead and skip that.
Yeah, I dropped Netflix anyway. I'm not the best person to talk about Netflix right now.
Yeah, I haven't been watching a lot of television in general. I've been reading.
I'm gonna, this. I know I don't want to get all political on this, but Quinn, I know you're gay, and I want to ask you what your opinion is about Netflix doing the gay Jesus movie.
What the heck is gay Jesus?
Oh, you don't even know about that? That's
no.
Oh my gosh, it's like this huge controversy because they Netflix put up a movie.
They made Jesus
making
gay?
Jesus.
I mean, it's like I've always thought of Jesus as kind of like this like asexual type of guy. He's just like he's freaking God.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
But I'm just thinking,
it's a real thing. That like
it's a real thing.
Yeah. It's like was it a Argentinian movie or Brazil? Something I don't know.
Yeah, Portuguese, I think, or
Portuguese. Yeah.
I mean,
wow.
Who at Netflix thought, you know what, this won't piss anyone off?
What is the plot of the movie? I don't get it.
I
want to know what the plot is. I'm just like,
honestly, I don't have any interest in it.
It's going to be like Mary Magdalene is a dude and like Jesus is some Mary Magdalene or something.
No, Mary is trans. So Pontius Pilate is into S&M.
Oh my goodness, I'm crying.
Oh Lord.
I think I broke him.
Yeah, oh no.
It's so stupid.
There's somebody else who wears that.
Oh no. Ana Iglesias in the chat says, No, Argentina, we didn't do this.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
Oh my god. Well, that's one of the stupidest things I've heard all week.
Yeah. Rhaegar says Brazilian, and Brazilians are protesting it too. Well, I just on a business.
Who's behind
sense.
the movie? Let me do some research.
Who in like, if this came across the table,
funny or something,
the desk of like the COO or the CEO or the CFO, anyone who's like, you know what, we're trying to get more subscribers.
We trying to piss everybody off.
Yeah. I mean, they're in
what is the
like,
contingent you're going after to grow your business by pissing off a third, a half, whatever? I don't even know what percentage of the population is Christian, but if you're gonna,
and Netflix in debt right now. I mean, that's the thing. They're buying more and more shows and things like that, and they're already in debt. Like, what was it, 20 billion or something like that? I think.
Haven't got a clue. How are they in debt?
They've been in there perpetually. I mean, it's just I don't know if it's a subscriber thing and the balancing out what kind of money they can keep leveraging, but I thought at some point, at least last year, they were in debt, and they were just buying more things, and it's like, wee, I can just buy stuff. It doesn't matter.
The thing about this movie, this gay Jesus thing, is that it's just incendiary.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point of it. It's just like, I hate stupid stuff like this. I mean, I don't know. It's retarded.
I know. I mean, I'm a born again Bible believing Christian and all that stuff, but I just looking at this from a business perspective. What the hell? I mean, does no one think that pissing off? I mean, if you're in a Muslim country, right, you're not going to do something that's going to piss off all of your clients.
They're going to kill you over there.
Well,
kill you if you
I mean,
draw Muhammad.
All right. If you're in a Catholic country, you're not going to do something that's going to piss on the Pope, right? Maybe Muslim was a little, yeah, okay. Rhaegar for $1.99 says, seriously, it's worse than the I Am Jesus sim. Have you seen that?
What is that?
It's
the game.
The game
yes.
where you play Jesus.
That's so bizarre. Like,
I don't understand.
What is going on?
I don't know. Yeah, no idea.
Oh my god.
It's shock value and playing to their base because they're kind of political and they figure they can get away with it, I guess.
Yeah. Oscar says Netflix would never do gay Muhammad. Well, not if they want to live.
Yeah,
and that's the thing.
That works.
Yeah, that's not how that works. I remember back in like the 70s or something, they did a Muhammad movie with Anthony Quinn. But because of the sensitivity to actually portraying Muhammad, they literally did it from Muhammad's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So you like saw his hands and stuff, but it's like the camera was like, it's like he had the camera on his face.
Oh, South Park actually drew Muhammad back in the day. Right? Yeah. They drew him back in the day and they got away with it. And then they wanted to do it again, and they were like, "You can't do this," so they put him in a bear costume.
Yep.
And then I remember they did it again, and they're like, "We're just gonna show him now," and then it goes, Muhammad has been censored by Comedy Central. And I was like, Comedy Central was like, nope, we can't do it. They wanted to show it. I thought that was so funny. But yeah, South Park, they get away with a lot of stuff, man. Those guys.
They kind of follow the writing on the wall, and they're, as far as censorship and stuff goes, and they've been pushing back as hard, and they don't care.
They do not care at all. And I think it's good to have someone that doesn't care. And I will always watch South Park. I love South Park. I've watched it since I was a kid. I mean, I don't always agree with all their takes, but I'm just like, it is an undeniably funny show. And they're always like relevant. They're always trying to make like relevant points. And I just really, really like their commentary on a lot of stuff with that show. And it's just really funny.
Yeah, I mean, the stuff I don't watch it. I've seen stuff, and those guys are freaking genius.
Oh my God,
I just don't watch it because of the level of vulgarity on it,
Yeah. Someone brought up the China thing. The China thing was so funny because South Park is banned in China now.
Yeah.
Because they made fun of the Chinese president. Like he banned Winnie the Pooh because like people were making fun of him and saying it like Winnie the Pooh. And so South Park made fun of that, and they banned South Park.
Yeah, they had Winnie the Pooh, and they had him drawn as Winnie the Pooh on there, too. So they just didn't care. They were just like, hey, I'm going for it.
They're like, we don't care.
Oh, that's too funny.
Oh, they're great.
Jeff Potts says, I'll never forget the outrage over Life of Brian, and Python tried to steer clear of Jesus. I love Life of Brian. That movie is freaking... Have you guys seen it?
I haven't. No, I don't think so.
You're not a Monty Python fan?
The what?
You're not a Monty Python fan?
I have seen I've watched some Monty Python stuff. Yeah, I've seen like I've seen that one about the Holy Grail one a bunch.
Yeah, that's their best movie.
Yeah,
that's their best movie.
Yeah,
I used to have that entire movie memorized.
She's a witch. I'm not a witch.
I'm not a witch. Did you dress her up like this? Well, she's a witch. But
it's like barely inaccurate though. That's basically what they did. Like they just accused someone. Like they had the most ridiculous like test to see if someone was a witch. Everyone's heard about the like tying stones and throw them to like the bottom of a lake, and like if they float, they're a witch and they kill them. And if you drown, then You went to heaven. You weren't a witch. They would crush people with stones. They had all these ridiculous tests. It's ridiculous. But it would always end up in the person getting killed.
Is this the Salem witch trials or over in England?
I think in Europe and stuff.
In Europe?
Yeah. In Salem, they just hung people. They didn't really burn anybody.
Right.
I think everyone that died in Salem was either hung, and then there was one guy that got crushed by stones.
Well, they were clearly not very imaginative.
Yeah. But this guy, like because they were accusing him of witchcraft, right? And so they had this. They would like put a stone. They kept putting weights and more and more weights, and he just slowly died, crushed to death. But like the Salem witch trial.
So in order to prove that he wasn't a witch, he would have had to have miraculously.
They wanted him to confess.
Oh.
And because he wouldn't confess, they just kept putting more and more stones on top of him, and it was just like, that is so dumb. It's just like
it's not a well thought out.
No,
plan.
It's just really weird.
Was it like, were they just trying to like steal his land or something, or was there ulterior motives, or were they just that? I haven't studied. You've obviously studied it because it's your.
I mean, it was there was a lot of paranoia going around, and I'm sure some of it might have been political. We don't exactly know. I'm sure people were accusing people that they just didn't like. But actually, during the Salem witch trials, it wasn't, not as many people got killed as you might think. It was like actually
20,
under,
right?
Yeah, under like 20 something people. So it wasn't actually a lot of people, but it's like legendary because it's like the American witch trials. But in like Europe, thousands of people were accused of witchcraft and like put to death for it, burned. All types of crazy stuff happened in Europe.
Yeah. What was that? There was a show about Salem. Is it just Salem?
It's just called Salem. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Did they cancel that?
Yeah, not a very good. And I really like witch shows. I just like witch stuff in general. That one wasn't very good.
Oh, how about the one with Ichabod Crane? What was that one?
Which one?
Sleepy Hollow?
Sleepy Hollow, yeah.
I never watched the show.
That was fun. I think it was by the producers of Fringe, because it really felt like a Fringe kind of show.
Yeah. Yeah, it did. For the first couple seasons, it definitely felt like that.
I should watch Sleepy Hollow. I've never watched it. It would be a good show to like go back and watch.
Yeah, it's fun. Ichabod Crane comes forward to the future, and then kind of runs you on this national treasure kind of ways to like explore whatever the mystery du jour is. It's like, oh, Benjamin Franklin, hid this thing behind the brick, and it's like he knew all the founding fathers, right? And so he's like, well, Benjamin, John Adams or something had a projection thing, blah blah blah, and so it like goes back and forth between the founding and today to like solve mystic crimes and things that are going on. It's very interesting.
It has like a occult bent to it.
A what?
An occult bent to it. A lot of it was very supernatural.
I know there was a witch in it that like was like hung out with him, right? I mean, I feel like I saw a trailer at one point and there was like a witch
in the later season. I think the later season it was. Yeah.
Someone said, and witches were real in Salem. I don't know about that. Have you ever heard about I forget who they were. Like it was one of those early colonies, the Virginia colony, I think. They just like disappeared, I think. They like totally just like vanished. And so they got there and all of these colonists were just gone without a trace. And no one's ever found out what happened to them. It's like no bones, nothing. No, personally, and I think it was the Native Americans. I think that one day these Native Americans came up, they rounded up all these people, they drugged them back to wherever, and just everyone's saying the Roanoke colony. I think the Native Americans drugged those people, they buried them somewhere because they never found bodies. So it's like I think they took the bodies, put them somewhere on one of their burial grounds, and that's what happened to those people. Because those people just disappeared. That's one of the creepiest stories ever. And I don't know. I would like.
You know what they did? They took them to Canada and they sold them into slavery.
Was that the thing? Was that a thing? I don't know.
Slavery?
Slavery and selling to white people?
Yeah, I mean, most of the early slaves were Irish.
Oh, I didn't know that. See, that's interesting. Yeah,
actually, black slaves were of greater value because they're stronger. I mean, this is generalities, but and it would actually. Did you know that the term mulatto was actually a cross between Irish and black, and it was outlawed because slavers were breeding blacks and Irish together to get the stronger, better slaves from the cheaper stock, right? And so it was a matter of just trying to keep the African slavers market more expensive. They made it illegal to crossbreed Irish and blacks.
They were like, "Don't mix them."
No mixing.
you know, like I heard, like, where did I hear this? It's like they were talking about like American black people and how like 70 to like 80% of us have like some like European DNA, just because of like the crossbreeding like back in like slavery times or whatever. So it's like I believe it because I look at my grandfather's mother, and her skin is as light as yours. Well, it was as light as yours. And I look at my mom's mom. She doesn't look black. She looks like she's Cuban or something, but I guess she's black. And then her mom, her skin was like yours. So I was like, I don't know, like what we got like all mixed up in here. I don't know, because like, you look at like black people from like Nigeria and something, and they don't really there's a difference. You can see like a difference between like those people and then just like American black people. So it's like you can tell there's like we're all mixed up in here.
Yeah. The first American slaves arrived on a Dutch trader in 1619 to 20.
I think it's funny though. They were like, "Don't mix it,"
right?
You can't mix it.
Well, you know, they wanted their blacks pure, their black slaves to be pure because they are of higher value. It's like, you know,
don't mix them with the disgusting Irish thing. You know, that's the thing. There was a lot of like prejudice against Irish people.
Oh yeah,
America. When they were like immigrating and stuff, like I heard all about that. Like after like the potato famine and stuff, I remember that in history class. They got treated. Really
that's why the English hated the Irish so much, because they would take them in and sell them into slavery. It was essentially, they call it indentured servitude, but it was like
basically slavery.
Yeah. Most slaves ended up in South Americans. That's true. Only, if I remember correctly, 6% of the African slave trade ended up in North America. The rest was all the Caribbean islands in South America. Interesting numbers. Numbers. Anna says, but Irish people could buy the freedom back. Afro-American weren't able to do that. I don't know. That's possibly... Yeah, maybe that's why they call it indentured servitude.
Indentured servitude.
Yeah, I don't know when it all... I don't know. I haven't done a deep study into all that stuff. Irish serfdom lasted until the late 18th century. Intellectuals and Society is a really good read for more on this. Yeah, but it's oddly not great YouTube. Mary Ellen, are you Irish?
I'm not. I'm 3/4 Italian and 1/4 Russian.
How dare you not be Irish?
I know.
I'm shut up because I'm part Irish.
Oh, that's cool. You got some leprechaun blood? No,
a little bit, a little German, a little hated people. I'm all kinds of hated.
Dude, I'm the mutt of mutts. I'm half Japanese, but in that half, I'm part Ainu, which is the native, the Aboriginal people of Japan, and then on the other side, I'm like Scottish, English, Dutch, French, Swedish, Norwegian. It's like Euro mutt and Oriental. I like to use the word Oriental.
I like that.
It has a particular connotation that Asian does not. You know, I'm from the Orient. Because you can be Russian and be and be Asian.
No, I was gonna say since you said Asian, it randomly made me think of this show on Netflix called Kingdom, which I felt like did not get enough recognition.
Kingdom,
and it took place. God, where was it? I think it was either medieval Japan or medieval China. One of those places. Really? But basically, there's an outbreak of like a zombie type virus thing, and it's like Game of Thrones could have taken notes from this show from how well it was done.
Really?
And it's like they only did 6 episodes. I don't know if they're gonna finish it because it looked really expensive.
How long?
And I don't know if they got enough recognition. About a year ago, too. It's called Kingdom.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It was really, really high production value. Really good. It was Korean. It was Korean. Yeah.
I will have to check that out.
It was so good. So freaking well done. Like Korean cinema, like people miss out on Korean cinema, especially now. Like watch the movie The Wailing. It is one of the best horror movies that I've seen in like a decade. It's so good. Train to Busan is another Korean horror movie that I really like. Handmaiden is not a horror movie, but it's a really good Korean movie. Watch Korean stuff.
My mom watches Korean soap operas all the time, and she's Japanese, so she's reading subtitles.
The worst Korean stuff.
Did you watch Nightfall?
I don't think so. What's Nightfall?
It's like to do with the
Nearly 200 years ago.
The Knights Templar.
No, I haven't seen it.
Mm-hmm.
But
I've tried watching it a couple times, but it's
okay.
I don't know, like it didn't stick, you know.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, that's like
it's with it's who's the guy?
Oh, who plays in it?
Yeah.
Hold on.
He's married to the girl from Orphan Black.
Order to protect
Quinn, have you ever seen Orphan Black?
I have bits and pieces of it. It's about clones and stuff. And
Yeah,
I don't know what the whole story is, but I know she's like got a bunch of different like hers. I tried to watch it, but then I was like, "This is confusing. I can't."
I loved it. I loved the first like maybe 2 or 3 seasons, and then it kind of just went off the rails for me. But yeah, it was good for the first couple.
I should get back on it.
And that girl I think she got a Golden Globe. She should because she played like so many different versions of herself very well. So
isn't it fun to just get on here and shoot the crap about whatever comes up?
It's fun to do that. I did that last night on my stream. It was supposed to be a Song of Ice and Fire. We did not talk about it.
Really?
What we were doing.
No, I talked about everything but a Song of Ice and Fire. I just went with it. So it was fun, actually. Because sometimes, like, you need a break, too, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't just a Song of Ice and Fire every day. Even George doesn't a Song of Ice and Fire every day.
He does a lot of sports, though. I have no interest.
He does sports. He does, wild cards. He does stuff like that. He does other stuff.
Yeah, it's funny because Quinn was the first one here, and he's like, "So what is this going to be about?" I'm like,
whatever. Like, we talked about Bruce Lee. We talked about random things. Slavery. I came back. You guys talking about slavery? Okay, cool.
Jeff Potts has a new topic for us. Is anyone eating Hot Pockets right now? No.
I am not.
Jeff Potts likes to just, because I go and eat. I'm eating Panera Bread over there.
Did you just go eat a Hot Pocket, Mary Ellen?
No, he thinks I am every time for some reason. I don't know why. But
Watch The Man from Nowhere. Is that a Korean movie?
I don't know.
Maybe.
Hellstorm, is it a Korean movie?
Cool movie? Snow Falling on Cedar.
I heard of that. What is that?
It was about the Japanese concentration camps in America. It was a really good movie. Ethan Hawke was in it.
I'll say a very controversial opinion, and being the only Japanese person here, I can. Concentration camps were a very good idea. They're whatever. Most people don't realize why that happened. It was an incident called the Nihao incident. I actually wrote it in the Meg. I added it to the Meg.
You mean internment camps, right?
The internment camps, yeah.
I'm sorry. I
Were
said
they kept the Japanese people during like Pearl Harbor or during
after Pearl Harbor. So during Pearl Harbor, one of the Japanese Zeros landed on one of the islands in Japan, and rather than the local Japanese population, see, I actually did it. I wrote it into the Meg because I'd never seen it, and he was talking about the internment camps and everything. So the Zero lands, and the local Japanese Americans sided with the Zero and took a bunch of Hawaiians hostage. And so after this incident, they're like, we've got all these Japanese people on the mainland who are also Japanese Americans. How are we going? Because you know what, dude, Japanese are fiercely loyal people. So, and it's funny because I've talked to people who were like, their grandparents were in the internment camps, and I told them this, and they're like, yeah, that's right. So literally, it was the safest thing for America to do. Now, the one thing I would disagree with, and that I think everyone would disagree with, was that they took their property. Right? Like this one dude I talked to, I met him at a con, and he was telling me his grandfather was in it, and he was a farmer. But when they took their property, his neighbor got the property and held it for him until he got out of the concentration camp, or the internment camp. It's not a concentration camp. It was an internment camp.
Internment camp. I know. They correct.
Really cool silence just said. As a black woman, I will say something non-PC. I don't want reparations. All right, look, I have to say something.
Well, you can not have them.
Reparations? That doesn't make any sense, right? Because it would be like, am I getting reparations? Like, is my grandma getting like, who does it go to? Like, how do you decide who gets reparations and who doesn't?
Right.
So, right off the bat, it doesn't make sense. I don't even understand how it could ever make sense, right? Like, how do you determine? I mean, it just doesn't make sense. So, like, I mean, scratch the idea. Find other ways to do stuff. Anyways, and then someone else also said, Quinn, how did you find the overall Watchmen series? Really enjoyed it. Also, is your graphic novel, what time is it set? And is it like in a fictional European country?
Oh, we're going to talk about Tadia. Let me blow it up again.
Yes. So I have not watched the Watchmen series yet. But I will. I love Alan Moore's novel. I know he hates everything that gets released, but I've heard from some sources that I respect and trust that it is actually a pretty decent series, so I'll get watching it. And as to the graphic novel, what time is it set? I'm not gonna say like a specific like date yet, because I don't have all the dates like totally worked out. But it's not on like this. It's not in our timeline, and it is set in a fictionalized European type kingdom called Marath, and that is the deal with Tadia. So there you go.
Why'd you call it Marath, Quinn?
I mean, it's just an interesting. I like the way it sounds.
Okay, yeah. I was just wondering, like, if there was like a play, like on words.
There's no mythological like backing for that name. Okay.
He liked it better than Leserath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are a lot of.
Tadia?
Huh?
Why did you name her? Okay, that's a good question, right?
I'll tell you that, darling. I'd have to tell you.
Okay. I gotta figure it out now.
There's actually a lot of
etymology of Quinn's work now.
There's a lot of like mythological tie-ins to like a lot of the names, to a lot of the stuff that's going on in the book. Like I said, I the myths and the lore is very important to me as like a huge fan of like fantasy books and like deep, rich fantasy stories, and you know, all the greats like Lord of the Rings.
Hey, Quinn, I should cameo in yours too.
Huh? I
should cameo in yours too.
I mean, yeah, sure.
Ooh, make her one of the witches.
I mean, totally, yeah.
Yeah, why not? I'm Iman of Fahima. I mean, Iman 17 Fahima says, "Ideas of Ice and Fire. Are there going to be people of color in the novel?"
Yes. In fact, the leader of the coven is dark-skinned lady. I'll just say that.
I don't know. For me, that's always such a weird question.
I mean, it is. I mean, it is kind of a weird question, but yeah, I mean, you know, there's people that look all different types of ways in Marath. In fact, Tadia's grandfather is actually like a darker skin type dude. He's not necessarily like black, but he's like a darker looking guy.
I guess I can understand it because like in actual European stuff, it's like, dude, it's Europe.
Yeah. So yeah. So like, and you know, it's the thing. We'll develop the look of this as it goes on. Although I do have like a little bit of concept art done, like the look of it is something that's still, you know, being developed, and you know, yeah.
Sorry.
Right on. Everett Todd says, sounds very Russian.
I agree. Tadia does, yeah, because like those Claudia, you know, those types of names typically are Russian.
Yeah.
Anyways, this is the image of Tadia. I'm going to take it down or put it back, minimize it again. But please do sign up for the Tadia mailing list. It is in the description. And I think we'll be posting it in the chat as well. Again, for those who are new, if you join the mailing list, you'll get exclusive updates. You will get exclusive discounts on, or possibly even exclusive items not available to the other non-mailing list subscribers when the Indiegogo goes live. Like for mine, I have a mailing list of people called the First Brigade, and so I will send them out links to special items that are not public, right? And dude, they get gobbled up. Those are very it's good incentive for people to be on mailing lists. So,
and awesome.
Let me minimize that again. All right. Next. Sorry. Bing. All right.
I love how that thing is just scrolling on the bottom. I feel like I'm watching a telethon. Like, it's pledge now.
Pledge now to Tadia, and you'll save Kitten from being thrown into a ditch, whatever. Jiminy Cricket says, I'm First Brigade! Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Curious 2A says, Lone Star Squadron, ho! Lone Star Squadron is what I call the backers of the Lone Star books. So, yours will be the Tadia something or
We'll
other.
figure out something.
It's got to be an alliteration. The Tadia, no, or you can just say it the Tadia Coven. I don't know.
We'll see.
Whatever. Little Wolf Liana asks Mary Ellen, did you get a new wall art? Or are you in a different room?
Same room. I just took down those banners because I was like, whatever. We're like, A Song of Ice and Fire most likely won't come up. It'll come up for like a second. And I was really sick of looking at the banners. I'll put my painting back up. Yeah.
Nick C says...
yeah. Nick C wants to know what Tadia is.
All right, you're going to have to do a quick pitch.
Okay.
I know. Hey, dude.
Tadia's pots.
Quinn,
like
when you're live, this is the deal, man. You are pitching... When your Indiegogo goes live, you are pitching this all the time. So get used to this question.
So Tadia is my upcoming graphic novel surrounding the machinations of witches set in a fictional medieval society, medieval kingdom known as Marath. And so basically in Marath, for about the past couple of 100 years, a new faith known as the divinity has been growing in power and rising. And the divinity is kind of like my analog for Christianity. And because of the rise of the divinity, people now very much turn away from like the older ways, kind of like worship of the Tuatha, and the old nature spirits is kind of taboo now. And because of this, the benevolent forces that once protected the realm, guarded the barrier of this realm and the other realm, which is a Celtic idea. I drew a lot from Celtic lore. The guardians of that barrier, the Tuatha, are growing weaker. And this coven of witches, known as the Daughters of Hecate, they've been in operation for many, many centuries. They can see the problem. They can see the corruption and the rot that's passing over from the other realm into this realm. And because of this, they kind of have to go, they're pushed to drastic measures. And they do this very esoteric and strange spell, which they really don't understand. And they end up producing Tadia, long story short. And they hope to use Tadia to shape Marath in the way that they see fit, and to kind of save Marath from the coming darkness that would seep in from the other world, and also to unseat the new king, Gideon, who's very much so inadvertently destroying Marath through his like propping up of the divinity and, their hunting of, all things pagan and all things that aren't in line with their dogma. So, those aren't spoilers, believe me, that is just the But yeah, so that there you go. So I will post the link again. You can get on the mailing list. We are almost, we announced 3 days ago, and we're almost at 300 people on the mailing list. So sign up now, and like Mike said, you can get all types of special perks.
Get in there. Ray Thulu says, shut up and take my money. We're going to have to whittle that down to a 30-second pitch.
Yes, I'll figure it out.
Actually,
it's gotta, I figured, yeah.
Yeah, I did a whole episode one time on how do I pitch my book, which advice, by the way, I did not take for myself, but I really did help some other people, like boil down their ideas to a 30-second, and understandable, and a way to reach the most people with the minimal amount of information. Unfortunately, I really never just tried to boil down my own stuff that way, because I'm a hypocrite. I'm good at telling people what to do. I suck at doing it myself.
Same, pretty much.
Who did the art? Curious 2A wants to know.
Huh?
Who did the art?
Who did the art? Oh, who did that art right there? Oh my God.
Yeah.
I will look up her name real quick. I commissioned that art, that concept art.
Yeah, Quinn's been trying to just have some art so that it's you don't want to just have when you're trying to build up a mailing list and stuff, just have nothing to show. So
yeah. So that art was done by Shinji2602 on Fiverr.com. And that is SHINJI2602 on Fiverr. Just some really good art up there. And you can commission her if you would like to have some stuff drawn for you.
Nixie says, remember to have finished pages to show when Tadia launches. Well, yeah.
Oh, of course, man.
No, we've got this whole marketing thing planned out where I'm going to be on Quinn's channel, and we're going to be designing stuff live with the audience. What do you call that? Audience following along and interaction. Thank you. Brain fart.
Interact with the audience and whatnot. Yeah, it's going to be really cool.
Yeah, so hopefully the audience gets really invested in watching this grow over time, and then by the time he's ready to launch, we'll secure the right artist and colorist and letterer, and I will. He's never done a graphic novel before. Obviously, this is kind of my shtick, so I'm gonna help him make sure he produces a top-notch professional package, because the idea deserves it, and Quinn deserves it.
And Quinn, are you going to have Wenioff do the visual adaptation?
Of course, the greatest directing and writing pair in all of Hollywood.
It's an article. Quinn from Ideas of Ice and Fire has meltdown with David Benioff and
Right? I feel like I'd never hear the end of that. If that ever, I know that's crazy out there, but if that ever happened, people would never let me hear that. I can't believe that him adapted after all that crap you talked about those guys.
Never. I was just joking.
Well,
somebody said it in the chat, not me. So
if HBO backs up a truck full of money to your house like they did to George, you will.
Right.
I'm not that attached.
No.
The Dragon Demands has this list of literally 200 things.
Oh, Lyrical Silence is saying goodnight to everybody.
Oh, yeah, I'm saying goodnight. And one of them is the wiki. It goes, the wiki remembers they created Talisa and they made her different than Jane Westerling. The wiki remembers there was no Taisha. The wiki remembers blah blah blah. It just goes on and on. The wiki remembers that George R. R. Martin and D&D are not on speaking terms. I was what?
Dude, I noticed. I feel like I noticed when the divide happened between George R. R. Martin and D&D. I could just tell by the way he started writing his blog post, the way he started avoiding talking about Game of Thrones. Which season was it? I think it was all the way through season 7. He didn't say anything, and then he just randomly goes watch The Last Kingdom. The Last Kingdom is really good. You're not caught up on The Last Kingdom. Make sure.
Yeah, what was that one post he mentions all the other shows on HBO except for
oh my god, he's like Gentleman Jack is amazing. I'm like, dude, you have a show on HBO that's airing right now.
Right.
He's such a troll.
We do not speak of it.
I don't really watch TV. Next day, he's like, all right, everybody, good show, Last Kingdom. I'm like,
that's what made it so funny, was because he was like, I don't have time to watch TV. And then he was like, watch Last Kingdom, though. I know I have a show that's airing, but watch Last Kingdom.
And his posts, congratulating everybody on the Emmy noms were it was there, too, because he goes, the crew did an immense job. Like, David and Dan assembled a phenomenal team. He just kept going there with it. I mean, the guy's a wordsmith, so you know.
Do you remember when he was? I think it was at the Emmys when they asked him, "Why is the show ending?" And he goes, "I don't know. Ask David and Dan. I think it could have went for 14, 15 seasons." He literally said that, and I was like, "Wow." Tell us how you really feel.
Mm-hmm.
Best season ever.
Oh God. And see, Quinn, he was talking about with a couple of other people after this whole debacle with Daenerys and her burning down the city, that like his only gripe or words of concern to people who name their child Dany is like, oh God, they're gonna have a hard time because spelling it, D and the A and the E and the da da da. He wasn't like, you probably shouldn't name your child that because she's gonna be that. He just was talking about the spelling.
You just named your kid Hitler.
Right. He was like, oh, it's the spelling. And I'm like, wow, George, way to go, buddy.
Should have finished the series first.
Yeah. They don't understand Gray. Like, becoming more ruthless, which is what Dany's going to become in the next book. More ruthless doesn't mean you go from being one day a savior of the world to I'm burning everybody to the ground and then I'm going to do it again tomorrow. It doesn't, I mean, that's not Gray. That's not Gray. That's insane.
Yeah. It's so sad.
Quinn, you lost it. You lost it that night. After
what night? Oh, the battle scene? Yeah, I was just like, I'm over it. I'm just
Did you do a video immediately after?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I did.
I think it was.
I think I watched the episode.
You released a rant like an hour later.
I think I had to like have watched the episode like a second time before I did it though.
Yeah, it was like a couple of hours later, but you were like, I don't know what this was. She is Misa. She is the breaker of chains. She is. And you guys just did that to her. And I was like, yep, thank you, Quinn.
He was a little upset.
You know, there was so much about Daenerys' character, like the way they presented it, which was like, it wasn't foreshadowing. It was like just like sloppily misleading. No, it wasn't even misleading. It was literally building her up one way and then like doing a complete total turn. Because like even like the sweeping grand music that would play behind her, that would
it was like, so heroic.
And
so
shit.
Beautiful.
This is the messianic figure being lifted into the sky and called mother.
They called her a god. They go, she's a god.
Yeah, and then they turned on that. They turned on it.
Yeah. I mean, like at the end of the episode, if you look, Dany is still burning people in the background.
She didn't. She's like, a completist.
Whatever, to the very last scene. She's still burning people. I was like, oh, there's Dany. There she is. Here.
Hey, just hand it to her. She's thorough.
She's very thorough. Except she missed the people that I wish she hit. Tyrion, Jon. I wanted her to wipe them all out.
You know, like I was so upset that Cersei didn't kill more of them.
Right.
I remember like tweeting before that episode, well, I hope Cersei kills as many of them as possible in the next episode.
Me too. That's how I wanted them all to go down.
Didn't kill anybody.
Nobody. Neither did Dany.
Oh, Dany killed everybody that didn't do anything.
Exactly.
She killed everybody that didn't deserve it.
Arya hit Arya. She's right there. And then I'm like, hit Tyrion. Nope.
Well, you know.
I guess Tyrion was her hand. Whatever. Fine.
You know, Star Wars, Game of Thrones. We know what kind of stories to avoid at this point.
It's, you know what? It's I don't know if I'm a glutton for punishment or whatever, but I'm that guy that was holding out. You remember, Mary Ellen? I was holding out as long as I possibly could before I finally gave up and I said, "This is garbage." And I was like, I'm like that with Star Wars too.
You were.
Yeah, I was. I wanted to love it so much. You know? You
did. You were really disappointed.
And I was like that with Star Wars too until this last movie, and I'm just like, no.
You know, like the first few minutes of that long episode were pretty good.
It was so good. I totally agree. I felt sick to my stomach. And you should.
That moment where you just see like the flood of whites just hit the freaking what you call it? You know, where they got the shields. and they hit them like right there. That was like so intense because it was just like, it's just like so overwhelming. You just think, how in the world can they survive that? But then they just ended up making it not make sense. I mean, like,
even the buildup was good, don't you think? Like, I felt super anxious when they were like, okay, it's ready, it's time, let's go.
Yes, and the Melisandre part was,
my God,
dude, you can't tell me the Melisandre part wasn't awesome.
What the hell? No,
it was so cool.
Okay,
wait,
even though it did nothing, it was so cool looking at first, and then it was like,
oh, you mean when she lit all the rocks?
When she lit all the when she walked out of the darkness and she starts like saying a spell and she lights all the thing and they all light up.
You know why? You know why that was a problem, right? Because she walked out of the darkness by her freaking self.
It just looked cool, right?
And guess what? Those rocks on fire were useless.
And they did nothing.
They dropped like a sack of potatoes.
They all died. It was like, why were they even in front? It didn't make any sense. They should have been.
No, Danny, hello, you guys have war council. She goes, wait, that's happening right now? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, no, I'm getting on the dragon. Like, pay it. Like, what is going on? You guys like are just, I cannot take it right now.
Danny dropped the plan after 2 seconds.
but that was the plan, and you guys talked about it. And Wendy was like, Danny changed the plan, and then everything went downhill from there. No,
everything was already downhill.
Absolutely. Johnny Boy sat on the battlements on the dragon and watched Melisandre walk at a snail's pace to light the thing on fire. You have like a lighter, like the biggest lighter ever. Just light that thing on fire.
I know.
I can't. It's like I was in my head. I'm like thinking I haven't seen the episode like since then. At this point, in my head, I'm thinking like maybe it wasn't that bad. Now it's
it was.
It's just it's all just trash. It's all freaking trash.
It is.
Okay, you know what? Just we're gonna stop. We're just gonna stop, and I'm just gonna leave it with "You're a good man, Theon." We'll
Thank
just leave
you.
it there.
Don't forget that.
Fraba.
You're a good man. Yo, Bram, where were you? So what'd you find out? Nothing. Oh, and it also said in the script that he was scouting. Okay.
Yeah.
In order to be a scout, you have to communicate. Otherwise, you're just somebody that's doing nothing.
Well, he clearly didn't find anything.
And they called what Danny did to King's Landing a siege. That's it. I'm going to end on that. That's it.
There's somebody in here. I can't remember. Rolling up, scrolling up. Joanna Espino.
Hey, Joanna.
She's got my heart. She said, I defended season 7 so much. I feel you.
Dude, you know what? It's so funny. Like all of my old videos that were once... It's so funny because I remember what the dislike ratio looked like when I first put them out. And I go back now and it's like 15,000 likes and then like barely any like dislikes. And it's like, it's changed so much. And I see so many comments now and it's like, I was so wrong for what I said to you in season 7. I see now you were right. And I see that over and over and it's so satisfying. It just feeds my ego. I'm just like, yes.
Okay, I'm gonna be a contrarian here, as I kind of have been this whole time during the whole Game of Thrones thing until the end.
Mm-hmm.
Until the end. Isn't it? I mean, like, stop. You like... I don't know, I feel like it's kind of stealing the joy from people who actually do enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And then... But the problem is, there is a reality to it. Like I was talking about the other, the Star Wars stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I enjoyed The Last Jedi, I forget the names. I enjoyed them, and then I would go and I'd watch a Mahler video, or I'd watch some Phantom Menace stuff, and like all of this stuff that is factually, objectively bad about it, right? It just kind of, it steals your ability to enjoy it if you're not as in. I'm not going to say not as invested. I love Star Wars, right? So I am invested, but I could still enjoy the stuff if I don't.
If you didn't know so much about it.
If I didn't know, well, if the stuff they're saying didn't dawn on me, like the stuff you're pointing out, right? It didn't dawn on me while I was watching it because I was just enjoying it too much, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, maybe
Eagles
being able to turn your critical mind off enough to be a kid again and enjoy. It's the same sort of a thing I said when the new Godzilla movie came out, right? People are like, oh, it's like this, that, and the other. I'm like, do you not even remember how much fun you had watching a dude in a rubber suit walking around smashing balsa wood buildings?
Yeah.
Right? And now we have this epic, realistic, phenomenal, visualization of these characters, and we're bitching about it.
Yeah.
I really liked Godzilla. I didn't see the new one.
Oh, there was so much fun. That's just like, dude, it's like the old movies you used to watch and the UHF channels where they would play the whole Godzilla versus this and Godzilla versus that and Monster Island and all that. Man, I love the new Godzilla, and I know people are probably going, "You're crazy," but I love it.
I thought the first one. I just didn't see the second
Monsters?
one.
King of Monsters.
Yeah, King of Monsters. I haven't seen that one yet, but I really like the first one. And like the scene at the end where he kills the other monster, and then like you see his little spines charge off, and then you're like, it's so cool, right? Yeah. I know a lot of people were complaining that they didn't show him enough, but I was like, kind of kept up the mystery for me. I didn't mind. It made battle at the end just like that much more like.
But
awesome.
so you feel what I'm saying though, right? Like there are people who are complaining about Godzilla because it's not a perfect movie or something, but you're forgetting where we've come from, Yeah. Although this last Star Wars movie completely ruins everything for me. And episode 7 and 8, I mean, it took or 6, I forget, season 8, whatever. It all, I just held out so long because I wanted to love this stuff.
Yeah.
I
mean, there's plenty of like terrible stuff that I like. So, I pretty much like every episode of Star Trek Next Generation. There's a few of them.
And that's cheeseball. That's cheeseball stuff, and I love TNG.
Yeah, man. Like I even like those first 2 seasons, man. I know people always like make fun of the first 2 seasons, but those episodes, like I don't know if you remember this episode, but there's one. It's the episode where the first officer dies, but they
Tara.
go to the planet,
and there's like Tara or Yara?
Huh?
Tara.
What's her name? Yara. Oh, what's her name?
Yara or Tara?
I can't even think of her name. The blonde one.
The blonde.
Yeah. She's only in the first season. She's a nobody.
Yeah.
But the episode where she dies is so like it's funny. What's the word? Unintentionally funny. Because like the monster in it is just like this
Tasha Yar.
Tasha Yar. It's like this sludge monster named Armus, and he's all like, "I will destroy you." And it's just like this monster looks like something from like the original Star Trek show. And like, this doesn't. And it's so funny, but it's like this is the episode where like a major character died and never returned, and she got killed by this ridiculous thing. Like what a way to go out.
Yeah,
but
even then, going back, right? The original Star Trek. I mean, granted, it's a product of its time, but it was hella cheesy. But it was a lot of it was really well written, and it was just great. And you can divorce yourself from this necessity of everything having to be perfect because of the time frame. But now it seems like because it's so easy to make everything perfect, that I don't know. Maybe we're spoiled. Maybe that's it.
I mean, standards change. I mean, I feel like standards have continued to change. It's like if you go back and watch a movie from like the 60s, like the standards of acting are different. Like an actor in the 60s would not get hired to be in a movie today. It's like, oh my God, I failed. And I mean, it's just like the standards have changed. Stuff evolves. It's like people expect more. I mean, it's up to them to like keep up with like people's expectations. You know what I mean?
Maybe
those the same thing.
It was sort of stage acting on film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Can you see me in the back?
I love old movies, so I'm not saying like that it's bad or anything. It's just like it's different. Like that wouldn't fly today. It's just like
Oh yeah. I mean, like you couldn't have a Cary Grant today, but Cary Grant is just so epic.
Yeah. I love like old Marilyn Monroe movies. Like I love Some Like It Hot. I think it's like so funny. That's such a funny. That's the one, right?
Yeah.
What's the one where the 2 guys dress up?
Some Like It Hot.
That's that one. Yeah, that's such a funny movie.
Yeah, that's that was filmed here in Coronado.
Yeah.
You go to Hotel Del and they have like pictures of all that stuff. Nixie says Mike hit the key. Well written, and I think that's the thing. I don't know if I mentioned this on my show before, but there's a book called Story by Robert McGee, and it's like a PhD. Have you read it? You're nodding.
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. It's like a PhD on screenwriting, right? And in the foreword, I think it's the foreword or the first chapter of this book, he's talking about how, you know, in the 40s and the 50s, this book wouldn't have been necessary, because if you were working in Hollywood, it's because you freaking knew how to write a story, right? But now, in the modern times, you know, all those really crappy movies that get made with these really horrible scripts, those are the best scripts in Hollywood. That's there's so few actually good writers in Hollywood anymore that's
really
why
sad.
There's so much crap that gets produced, because nobody freaking knows how to write.
Ugh, that's so sad. It is. That's just depressing,
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's just really depressing. I don't know. You know, the Dune movie is coming out next year. A lot of us are really excited about this movie because
Who's writing it?
Denis Villeneuve. Denis Villeneuve is directing it, and he also co-wrote the script along with John Spates and another guy. John Spates did Prometheus, which you can say what you want about that movie, but yeah, Denis Villeneuve also co-wrote it. And Denis Villeneuve also just got named as the director of the decade.
Did he work on Breaking Bad?
Denis Villeneuve?
Yeah.
Or John? No, he did not. I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
His name sounds familiar. Like I've seen it in credits.
He's done a lot of really good movies. He did a movie called Enemy with Jake Gyllenhaal, which was really good. He did Blade Runner 2049.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like that. I don't know what. That's another thing. Why people hate on that movie? I love that movie.
Because they're shallow. You know, people. Shallow people. No. I'm telling you this. Shallow people love to hate on things that they feel like are smart, because they feel like. I feel like people sometimes feel like something's condescending to them or something. I don't know what it is, but I mean, I that movie is like so just like next level science fiction. It's deep. I love Blade Runner 2049. It's one of the best science fiction movies that I've seen.
It really respects the original.
Yeah, but people just want to hate. Haters want to hate. It's a really good film. I'm super excited for him to do Dune, because I just because he said this is the story that he's always wanted to do. It's been his dream since he was like a kid, and he read Dune. So I was like, we couldn't have a better person to like be in charge of this movie. And like they've really positioned him in charge of like this whole like Dune universe that they're setting up, because they're also doing a show on the Bene Gesserit sisterhood, who, you know, the Coven, the Sisters of Akate in the comic might be somewhat a little bit inspired by the sisterhood, by the Bene Gesserit sisterhood, just a little bit. But
Why
yeah,
are you coming in here in your underwear, dude?
we're all excited for Dune in 2020.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to read the book before that comes out. I have never read it.
Yeah. It's a really good book.
This
heavy,
kid freaking walking.
stuff,
Do you know who V is?
V?
Yeah, he's another YouTuber from Romania. Romania.
I don't think so.
He talks very much like this. He's very funny. But I was on his live stream with him for like 3 hours. It was just a great stream. This kid walks in. He's special needs, but this kid walks in holding his dirty diaper that he had just removed. And he's like, I got to take the stream down now. I got to go by. It was like, I'm like, damn it. And he deleted the stream, and it was like a really, really good stream. But
Wow.
So now that's why I'm always like, you better not be naked. This is like the one channel where that happens. Well, hey, it is 3 minutes from 10 o'clock my time, so I'm gonna start wrapping this up. But I want to let everybody have a minute to tell people where they can find them, what they're up to, and why they should subscribe to your channel. We'll start with Kevin, because Kevin, you just have been so quiet.
Yeah, I'm Kevin Sharp. I'm a Marvel and DC artist, and I've got a book called Dragon Guard, which is a fantasy book. and it's getting ready to come out. I'm going to start the Indiegogo campaign in February. Right now, I have a mailing list. You guys can reach me at KevHulk73 on Twitter or KevHulk73 on Instagram. And I'll always be posting artwork and all kinds of cool stuff.
Right on,
Awesome.
Mary Ellen.
Okay. Hey, everybody. I'm Mary Ellen from the Order of the Green Hand. So my channel focuses on A Song of Ice and Fire and Game of Thrones. And upcoming, I've got a couple of videos, one on Jon Snow's fate in the Winds of Winter and why I think he didn't actually die. Some stuff from Fire and Blood, the companion book that George wrote about a year and a half ago and published last November. And it's about the Targaryen reign. And then I think I'm going to finish up the Dany series. So what we did was we went through each chapter and we broke down and we looked for foreshadowing of future madness. And so far, there's nothing. So I got to wrap that up and that's it. So subscribe to me and all of that. Thanks for having me, Mike. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. We're going to do this
I
next week.
contributed.
You did. Who said you didn't?
I woke up.
Wait, who's saying you didn't?
No, because at first I was really out of it. I did good, though. I brought up Bruce Lee and stuff.
Yeah, you did.
Thanks, guys, though. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you want to do this next week, too?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
All right. Quinn?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm Quinn from Ideas of Ice and Fire. Actually, someone real quick said, how long is Dune? If you get the trade paperback, Dune is about 800 pages of reading, and it's very dense. It's very dense. And you can find me, Ideas of Ice and Fire. I cover various science fiction and fantasy books, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, you can check out my Indiegogo campaign for the graphic novel that I've been talking about, which is a fictional medieval graphic novel about a coven of witches called the Daughters of Hecate.
Link in the chat and in the description. And I am Mike S. Miller. This is my channel, Art of the Hero, with Mike S. Miller. I do comic books. You can go to LoneStarComic.com and check out this, which is, I'm on my second issue now. You'll believe in heroes again. If you're interested in comics at all, or superheroes, or fiction, whatever, check that out. You guys all know I work on the Game of Thrones covers. I used to work at DC, did Injustice, all that fun stuff. I'm here all the time streaming art shows, hangouts like this. We do Nerds of the Round Table on Mondays, and I do a Bible-based show every morning. Well, not every morning, most mornings. So it's like a channel. There's a bunch of different shows. One show you might like, one show you might not. But whatever you do, subscribe, like, share, let people know. And make sure you subscribe to everybody here. Their links are all in the description. So we will see you guys next time. Any other last words, ladies and gentlemen?
All I Want for Christmas is You is #1 on the Billboard charts.
There you go.
All right.
Wow. Happy holidays, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
That's right. Good
Happy
night.
holidays. Merry Christmas.
Mele Kaliki Maka is the thing to say. Aloha.